All right, here we go. Here we go. All right, Mark, what's up, man? Oh, he can't hear the. Turn his mic on. Turn your mic on. I think he having a little technical issues with his mic. Let me tell him to turn his mic on. Hold on, y'all. All right, all right. All right, so let's get it started, man. We have two guests. First guest is, man, Wendell Stewart, man. Give me an introduction of yourself.
Hey, yeah, my name's Wendell Stewart. I'm a second-year band director at James Singleton Charter School. That's in New Orleans, Louisiana. Graduated from Forsyth High School. I did one rip at Southern in '96, and I kind of laid off of music for maybe like 4 or 5 years, and like in 2002, I got with the Stooges brass band, and no, that was in 2000. In 2002, I was officially with the Hot 8 brass band. That band by which we started in high school. I just stopped playing once I graduated. Bunch of world traveling, couple Grammy nominations with the group, man. We've done a whole bunch. But since I was 15, I always dreamed of being a band director. So in like 2012, I stopped traveling, and I also had 5 kids at home at that time too. So the traveling was taking a toll on me. Stopped traveling. I got in school. Graduated from UNO in 2017. Took a little break because that was stressful and raising kids at the same time. And 2019, I applied and got a job at James Singleton, and here I am.
All right, all right. Mark, man, what's up, man? Give an introduction of yourself.
All right, man. Look here. My name is Mark Wayne Martin II. I'm from Port Arthur, Texas. Born and raised. You understand what I'm saying? I graduated from Memorial High School. Y'all interviewed Alex Frazier a couple of years ago. We graduated together around the same time. I graduated from Memorial High School. I played saxophone, man, from 4th
I'm a
through
sax
12th
player
grade.
too, my boy. Yeah,
All
that's
right,
what's
all
up,
right.
bro.
I don't want to break your heart, though. In 10th grade, you feel me? I got tired of not being heard, so I started playing the mellophone, and I got a French horn scholarship to Texas Southern.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
So I was, I crabbed 06, Texas Southern, assistant section leader 07, section leader 08 in the mellophone section, student director 09, and graduated spring 010. I've been teaching band for about 13 unofficial, 13 years unofficially. 10 years. Oh yeah, man. You see I had to get the major pain today because, man, I looked at one of those videos like, oh man, it's bad.
I see you, man.
I used to have hair longer than yours, bro. Like it was out there. I had 7 lots.
I heard that.
So I got it today.
One day.
But yeah, man. My first job was in Port Arthur. I was a middle school band director at Thomas Jefferson Middle School. We did some pretty good things there. I then transferred to Dallas Samuel High School in Pleasant Grove, and I did like a year and a half there. I was laid off by Dallas. They laid off 900 teachers, and I was one of them. So I went back to Port Arthur, and I became the same job, band director at Thomas Jefferson Middle School. After that, I became the choir and assistant band director at Ozan High School. Since then, they merged the schools, Ozan and Central in Beaumont, Texas. And now, for the last 2 years, is my 3rd year going on being the head band director at Beaumont United High School.
Okay. It's a question for both of y'all, man. When did y'all first fall in love with music?
I'm gonna let you go first, man. Wendell, you go first.
Oh man, I gotta say it was in the choir, man. I was in one of those families that went to church every Sunday when we and my grandmother happened to be the choir director. So You know, I was in the inspirational youth choir, and my mom also sung solos. What's funny about that, man, I can remember just being young, and my mom would I'd just be hearing her sing church songs and stuff throughout the week. And you know, we wound up at church Sunday, and all of a sudden, she's the one singing the solo. And I never really put two and two together, but you know, it was like, you know, every now and then I'd be like a wow moment. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, you know, one of those families where she never turned off the radio, listening to Anita Baker and all that kind of stuff. You know, so I guess, you know, church was probably the first inspiration. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, man. I always got a story. Y'all gonna figure that out real quick. I always got a story. When I was in 6th grade, you know, I was in band from 4th grade. You know what I'm saying? And we had 4th and 5th grade bands in my city. So in 6th grade, my mom was like, "Man, you pretty good at the saxophone. You want me to buy you an instrument?" I say no. She was like, "Why not?" I say, "Man, ain't nobody gonna be in no band in high school, man. Band for losers." Like, you know what I'm saying? I was a football player, man. I played all sports, football, track, basketball, golf, wrestling. I got bowling trophies. I was sports, you know, and situation happened in my 9th grade year where, you know, I developed skin splints, man, and I had real bad scoliosis. Hey, son, thank you. I appreciate that. I had real bad scoliosis, so the insurance wouldn't cover. The school insurance wouldn't cover me. They dropped me from the school insurance. My mom was like, "Man, we ain't got no money for that. You better play in that band or whatnot."
Right.
So 9th grade year, I remember this group called Top Teams America took me to the Southern versus PV game. And, man, I ain't going to even lie, man. It was in Houston, Texas, and once I saw that, I was like, man, I saw PV play cleaning out my closet. And I was like, man, that's cool, because I had just moved out my mama's house, you know, like, you're 14, moved out my mama's house. They played cleaning out my closet, and it hit my soul. And ever since then, I was like, man, I might give this band thing a try. And then my senior year, I was like, you know, it's a pastor lead position. I'm pretty good at it, man. I'm gonna go and take this band scholarship, and the rest is history. I went from not liking band was Palooza, I'm a sports player, to band director for 13 years.
Okay.
That's what's up.
So who would y'all say are y'all biggest influencers in the band world?
Go ahead, Mark. I got to think about that one for a minute.
Oh, man. I mean, you're trying to get me in trouble, man, because you're going to make me leave out somebody. But I can say my first big influence was Mr. Beasley, rest his soul. He dead in my middle school band. Well, no, my first, I guess, band for his first 4th grade. I had Mr. McDaniel. I had Mr. Alexander, you know, and Mr. Alexander still alive. Mr. McDaniel's dead. Then Mr. Beasley. I had Mr. Jackson. He taught me, and then I was his co-worker in the process of time. I had Mr. Hancock. College-wise, I had Mr. Lee, Prof. Butler from the Ocean. You know, of course, the great, phenomenal Clarence Gibson. I got to give him a shout-out. And Mr. D. But really, right now, one person that I really look up to is Alice Frazier. Honestly speaking, we've been rivals since he was in 5th grade, I was in 4th grade. We've been rivals since then. He lived in my backyard, faced his front yard. We would battle each other outside. He's one of the reasons why I switched from saxophone, because he's so talented. I never felt like I was gonna beat him. But Alice Frazier, he's the band director at Port Arthur Memorial. You know, and that's the great, like Lawrence Jackson, got a good relationship with him, and several other band directors. Terrence Brock. I recently formed a bond with Deontay Kennedy. But if I could say anybody that kind of influences me, and I kind of I really look up to, is Alex Frazier, Port Arthur Memorial's high school band director right now.
Okay.
Yeah, man. You know, I guess I got to start off with my high school band director, Mr. Bremer, Mr. Elijah Bremer. Rest in peace to Mr. Bremer. Man, coming up in New Orleans, Fauché was one of the toughest schools, you know, just period. You know, it was going down back then in the mid 90s, the early 90s when I was in there. And I don't have to say too much about that, but you know, just to see Mr. Bremer care for, you know, he wanted the worst of the worst kids and to turn their life around, you know. And I just saw him save so many lives, from drug dealers to, you know, to the worst of the worst. He made them the best of the best. You know what I'm saying? And that, just seeing that really inspired me. And like I said, I've been having this dream since I was 15, and I always did try to deny the music because I was kind of smart in school, and I was like, you know, I could be anything I want to be. I don't have to stick with the music. That's the easy thing. But like I said, man, I stepped away from band from 96 to 2000. It came right back around. You know what I'm saying? And then I just knew, like, this is what I'm doing. And, you know, so my first inspiration was Mr. Bremer. And, you know, when I went up there to Southern in 96, man, just to see the way Doc and Mr. Knight and Mr. Jackson, you know, run a band, I got so much inspiration in a short time from those guys. And then I'm absent from band, right? From actual marching band, from actual marching band from 96 until like 2015, when I was in college and I knew it was time for me to start studying again because I'm about to jump back into the game, you know. And then at this time, you know, we got these band directors here in New Orleans, and Mr. Wilbur Rollins and Eric French, and man, just really looking at and studying those guys. And you know, I'm a first year band director. I got a chance to sit in Mr. Wilbur Rollins band camp and to see the way that, man, he's a master at motivating kids. You know, he can relate so well. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And just to see that element of it, you know, that really, you know, I'm already that type of guy. I've also coached baseball. When I stopped traveling, I started coaching my children's baseball and softball team. So, you know, I was always real good with kids, and I know just having that relationship is what you really need. But to see that master at work, that really touched me. And so Mr. Rollins, you know, it was only 2 weeks, but you know, that was a great thing. And, you know, just to see the guys like Kenny Collins at work, and you know, from afar, you know, Mr. Deontay Kennedy, I watch him every now and then. Like, it's, you know, those are my real. Oh, and I can't forget about the Rangers at Southern right now, because, you know, Mr. Brian Simmons and you know, Kedrick Taylor, like, those boys are awesome. Travis Pruitt, you know, all these guys, man, all these recent guys. I'm new to these groups, and I'm checking out all these arrangers. That, man, these guys are great, you know. It's funny because I'm a band director, and I've had some pretty good success in my first year. And I can arrange music, but I've only arranged the number of songs that my band have played this year, plus 2 more. So I'm real young in the arranging game. But you know, just playing that jazz music for a long time, I really got a, you know, creative ear, and I know what things are supposed to be placed based on what I got. So it's working out pretty well. Yeah. So those are my inspirations.
Okay. So what made y'all want to, you know, even become a band director?
I guess go ahead, Mark.
Go ahead, bro.
Nah, I was just saying, finishing that story, man. Mr. Bremer, man, Mr. Elijah Bremer. I was 15, you know. He, like I said, man, just and the product that he put out, what you can say was the worst of kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was amazing. Like, you know, so that was my total inspiration to, you know, I had my dream this year during Mardi Gras season. I could just remember walking up St. Charles Street, and that Deja Vu came around of that song off, and me looking at the band and calling the song off. Like, man, you know, so since I was 15, Mr. Elijah Bremer, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Just elaborating what I already said, man. Like, man, when I started that PV in Southern, you know, it kind of let me know that, hey, man, look, there was a licensing band past high school, man. When I went to Memorial, we were just like what I'm in the situation that I'm in right now. We were consolidated with 3 schools, you know, and man, nobody felt us in the high school because we wasn't Lincoln, we wasn't TJ, we wasn't Stephen F. Austin, we wasn't never gonna beat them. So nobody really felt what we were doing, even though we were like 2-3 times the size of any one of those schools. Like we had like 230 the first year. Lincoln ain't never had nothing more than 100 or so, 200, you know, like 150. But we were like, you know, the outcasts. We were known everywhere else except for in our hometown. So I really wasn't really feeling that either, you know, going from going to being in the newspaper on football and all the other stuff to kind of being almost hated, you know. But I went to that Southern PV game, man, and I got to knowing, you know, that there was something past this, and it was kind of like, man, people was appreciating it. I saw how many people was there, how many people, the people didn't go to the stands, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the concession stands, you know what I'm saying? They watched the bands, you know, so I'm like, man, yeah, baby. Go ahead, watch TV. Go watch TV. Yeah, but man, but then when I came back, you know, I was kind of interested in the people in the band. They kind of really took it seriously. Like, you know, in my high school band, we had, you know, Frazier. We had people like Robert King. Some people y'all ain't gonna never know. You know what I'm saying? Jesse Ballou went to Southern. Derek Spears. We had these people that really took it serious. So Solomon Scypian, people y'all might not never know. But I want to give them credit because they started sitting me down and kind of teaching me stuff. My cousin Rodney Broussard went to FAMU. They started teaching me stuff. And all of a sudden, I started hearing songs. Like my first song that I arranged was in 8th grade, man. It was The Whole World by Outkast.
Oh, man, that's a classic.
The Whole World by Outkast. It wasn't no paper now. I was like, you play this, y'all play this, and we kind of played it. You know, we were rocking it out. You know what I'm saying? I remember that. But then, you know, Mr. Jackson, Alvin Jackson, he was my assistant middle school band director, and he was assistant high school director as well. He set me down, and they gave me a computer. They said, here's finale 2002. You start writing your arrangements. And in our band, Mr. Hancock came from the University of North Texas. He wanted his band to be like Texas Southern and Prairie View because that's the bands that he kind of watched. But he came from North Texas. So we focused on, you know, fundamental scales, marches, and if you want to do any of the other stuff, I'll teach you how to do it, and then y'all play with that. So I kind of started ranking them. You know, he would sit down. After halftime, he would sit down, and we ran the band, you know. But I would just sit there, you know, kind of learn how to do it. And like you said, I was kind of smart in school. I graduated number 5 in my class, you know. So I had opportunities to be a doctor and lawyer, but I started kind of like band. So it was like, okay, well, I would be a music and a science and law major. You know what I'm saying? I would do all that. Then after a while, I was like, nah, I don't feel like cutting on nobody because I really don't care about that. And nobody wants nobody to operate on them, and they really don't care. So I said, well, I'm going to be like music and law. And then after a while, I was like, man, I really don't want to do that either. I kind of want to do music. My mom said, you go to school and take that music scholarship, I'm not going to support you. You're on your own because you waste your time. And I decided to waste my time, man. And that's what got me into it. But what kept me into it, and this is like after reflecting over my years, you know, what keeps me in it is what he said. We take the worst of the worst, you know. Sometimes the best of the best, we take all people where they are and we transform them into functional human beings. Now, I've taught thousands of students by this time, you know, in my career. And, you know, having them, some of them make it, you know, some of them don't. But being able to teach somebody not just a skill, but about life, man. You know, music is life. You know, teaching them how to be responsible. You got to be on time. You got to have your proper equipment. You got to know your assignment, like Mr. Lee say. And if you do those 3 things, he say, that's going to apply to any job, any relationship, anything that you ever do in your life. If you do those 3 things, you should be successful, right?
Exactly.
We teaching kids how to be successful that may not have the same opportunity. I vowed when I was in school that I would never work at a school that had everything. I've never been at a band. I've never been in a band program starting out in the first year of an established band program. I've never done that in my whole career. Never done that. Truth be told, I don't know if I can even sustain a band program, to be real, because I've made my reputation on making bands better, building bands. I've stayed, the longest I've ever stayed anywhere is 5 years. I mean, I guess I sustained it for 5 years. I mean, I guess, but I don't, 10, 15, I don't have that track record. But what I do have is a record of teaching kids how to function in life. And that's through music, through band, teaching them how to do it. And man, when you build these relationships, you don't. I got 3 kids, man. Sorry.
It's all good, bro. It's all good.
No.
That's the second one. I mean, that's the first one actually. But when you build those relationships, man, and when you get to impact the student in the fact that they grow up, they have their lives, they have, they graduate. Most importantly, they get that money. I'm talking about cash money, baby. Last year we had almost $1 million worth of scholarships at our school. Money, baby. You know what I'm saying? When I can teach them how to do that and then want to come back and give the same thing, oh man, that hooked me. I really want to be a farmer and a fisherman in life, but man, I can't let this go. If you look at my YouTube channel, my Facebook channel, it's all about farming and fishing. That's it. You know what I'm saying? You don't really teach for the man. But man, when you can talk a kid out of suicide, when they trust you enough to come to you with their issues, you know what I'm saying? When a kid doesn't have water in their house, you feel me? And we can do something about that. When we can pull these resources because we in the band together and because we are family. I didn't have my mama and daddy in the house. Now, don't get me wrong. I love my mama. I love my daddy. They've been there to support me since the beginning. But my family, when I left my mama's house at 14, you know what I'm saying, was the band. You see what I'm saying? When I went to live at my daddy's house a couple months later, the band been consistent since 4th grade. And I've been a member of a gang. I've been a preacher's child. I've been a preacher. I've been a gangbanger. I've been a drug dealer. I've been a lot of things in my life. But right now, I'm being an influencer. And man, there's nothing better than that, man. I can tell you that.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. You turned your life around. That's all that matters, man.
Mm-hmm.
Man, so what were some of the challenges that y'all had to face when y'all took over y'all band programs?
Go ahead, bro.
I got it. Yeah. Oh man, I'm not gonna say. I'll just put it like this. Singleton wasn't recognized as one of the top bands in the city before I got there. So just walking in the door, getting the kids to really believe that they could, accomplish great things, man. When I first went into the school to get the band kids, they let me go into the gym to pick kids out of the gym, right? So got to the first class. I'm talking to the 5th through the 8th graders. Actually the 4th through the 8th graders. And I'm just giving them a little motivational speech, but actually I'm telling them what band can provide for them, and the fun we gonna have, the traveling we gonna do. I didn't get too deep as far as how much it's gonna save your life. And what you got to know is I'm teaching in a Central City neighborhood. If you know about Central City, New Orleans, it's actually the neighborhood I grew up in. I grew up like a half a mile away from the school I'm teaching, and I went to kindergarten 2 blocks away from the school that I'm teaching at. So I'm actually honored to be in this school. It's kind of like where I started to where I start my career,
Right.
And full circle. But man, yeah. I'm sorry, I got off track of thought.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, you good, man?
What the question was again? My bad, man. I was rambling.
Yeah,
the challenges. Yeah, getting the kids to believe in themselves was the biggest thing. One of the things I heard that the band didn't do performances before Mardi Gras season. Man, I think we did 5 or 6 out in the open public performances before Mardi Gras came up. So just putting them out there giving them that confidence, man. Like, you know, it started to build gradually, but at first, you know, we live in a day and age where kids get ridiculed for trying. So when I first stepped in the band room, I couldn't even get a kid to try because they felt like they were going to get laughed at by the whole class, which they were. You know, they about to clown you.
Right,
But
right,
you know, that's where you have to be able to establish that discipline, and you know, I'm on that so quick to shut that down in a way that's nurturing though, because the one thing I walked in that band with, is love, bro. We have to love these kids because they're not getting it at homes most of the time. I'm talking about nurturing love. You need that to thrive and believe in yourself, you know. So, you know, and it feels funny because some of them don't ever even hear someone to say, man, I love you. And that's how I walk in the door, man, I love y'all, bro. Good job. I love you for the effort you're giving me. I love you for trying. I love you for not giving up. You know what I'm saying? I'm always like, it sounds funny to them at first, but now they just used to it. They know Mr. Stewart coming with the love, but they really respect that. You know what I'm saying? So just establishing that dynamic, it took a while, but you know, I know with a little patience, you know, it was gonna win them over, and it did.
Okay. Mark, man, what about you?
Oh man, it was so inspirational, man. Look, I got to first before I talk about me, man. Congratulations, bro, man, for loving your students, bro, and actually telling them that.
Good, bro. Oh yes, indeed.
Like that's so important, man. I tell my kids I love every one of y'all. Sometimes I tell them I don't like y'all, but I love y'all. Like, you know.
Oh yeah. It's a difference. It's definitely.
But I love every one of y'all.
Yes,
I love every one of y'all. So I just want to, man, bravo. Challenges though, man. I'm not about to say that y'all don't already know. A lot of times we underfunded. We ain't got the right facilities, right? We don't have enough uniforms. We don't have enough instruments. It's always something. When I took over in Port Arthur, man, they was like, man, we got about 300 kids in the band program. I was like, oh yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? What they did, it was 387 on the roll. I say, man, we about to be cold. What they didn't tell me is, that, yeah, you got 387 kids, but most of them we only got 3 electives in the school: band, art, choir, and then everybody got to have PE. So it's like we just split them up. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
What they didn't tell me is that everybody just mixed up in the classes. What they didn't tell me is you only got 68 instruments for these 387 kids. We don't have no uniforms, so
Man, that's crazy.
So when you talk about challenges, most of them lead to but outside of the culture, because everything that you said is true. I don't want to rehash what you already said about culture, home life, all those things. Those are definitely true. On top of that, to compound those issues, you have all that stuff that they come to the school with, which is my choice. I said I wasn't gonna never go with nobody say I had everything. I didn't know it was gonna be like this. All those problems is this scheduling, having the kids in the right spot. One issue that we have in Southeast Texas is that is unique. In New Orleans, you have a city where music is accepted. What you do, the tradition. I like to say traditional style. Most of the people say show style. I like to say traditional style because I feel like all bands do shows. And that's like show style is like dancing band to me. It's the same kind of word to me. But I respect. I respect it. I understand what people are saying. But if you hear me say traditional style, that's what I mean. The traditional style of marching band, the 8 to 5 band, the band that plays top 40, new songs, that kind of band. In New Orleans, that band is respected. Y'all the birthplace of jazz. American popular music art is really respected in New Orleans.
It's totally different down here than anywhere else, for sure.
Yeah.
As far as the way music is accepted, yeah.
Right. I live in Southeast Texas. So You know, CNN does Black in America every year, you know, that special. And Southeast Texas is consistently every year the most racist area in the whole country.
Wow.
So, so this is what I grew up saying. Watch TV. So what I grew up in, not being accepted for who we are and what we do. I always do interviews in front of my books. To, you know, you can see I got bookshelves over here. I got bookshelves over here. I got bookshelves outside. Because what my mission is to kind of combat that. What we do is the only true American style. Everybody else does European style. You can count the military bands as well, technically as an American style, but we all know that they came from the Turkish bands, and we all know that that came from the Africans. But like what I'm saying is, you know, what we do, traditional style marching band, was invented in America. Top 40 music, most art genres in America are created by Black people. So I wanted to prove one of the issues that I really face right now, because I've made a reputation. We made the superior rated at contests. We have kids to go to the state and be in the region band and the area band and all those stuff. We proved that we can do that. So now they're asking questions. So if you can do that, why do you play like this? Okay, sir, I have an answer for you. You know, like this. You know, so that's one of the major challenges that I'm facing right now. As far as funding is concerned, yes, it's always going to be a problem. But my band students don't have band fees. If they show up and work hard for me, I'm going to make it happen to where you have the money to go. I don't feel like you should have to pay to be in there. I don't feel like you should have to pay for an instrument. I feel like if you work hard, that should be rewarded. If you see us in New Orleans, if you see us in Baton Rouge, if you see us all across Texas, if you see us anywhere, please believe my students pay $0 for that, because a workman, as the Bible says, is worth his wages. So that's my job. And I'm not. I have a unique situation. I'm not saying that, you know, there aren't financial challenges, because trust me, there are.
Right.
No. What I am saying is I try to engage the community and get them involved and put the ownership on the community and myself, so that the kids can grow up and have a free environment. There's no reason why our kids should have any less than any other kid in the state of Texas. So I want to give them one less thing to worry about. So a lot of my time is spent with fundraising, networking. We have partnerships with HEB, which is a local a chain of, I don't know if y'all know about HEB where y'all from, but HEB is like our Piggly Wiggly. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, you know, huh?
HEB.
Yeah, it's a grocery store. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we evacuated to Austin, Texas, for Katrina, so that's what it was.
Okay, so you know about HEB. You know about low prices every day. So we have partnerships with community. So we have some. Please keep sponsoring us, HEB. I appreciate y'all. We have partnerships. We have partnerships with community and stuff like that. And my mission right now is to get scheduling correct, to change, and then the last thing, which is real important, to change the kids' mindset into I can't do what they do. Now I'm not greater, I'm not less than, I'm actually greater than. We can go and play the concerts, you know what I'm saying? We can play the marches, and we can do what we do, and that's okay too. Giving them like, I don't shave my beard. Most of the time, if you see me on the video, I got a grill in my mouth. I'm gonna have some kind of jewelry on, you know what I'm saying? Because that's the environment that I grew up in, and showing them that you can't. But at the same time, you're gonna see me in a 3-piece suit with the grill. My superintendent be like, you know, Mr. Martin, I wish you would not wear that grill. I say, well, you know. I say, well, ma'am, you have ear jewelry, and I'm scared of piercings, so I choose to have mouth jewelry. And she's just like, get away from me. But you know, just showing my kids that I'm a classically trained musician at Texas. I played French horn. I wasn't really with the jazz thing, you know. I played with the Houston Symphony. I've sat in with Catholic churches and different kinds of things. I played French horn, so that's my love. My major is performance in French horn. But I'm not going to say that somebody else's culture is better than mine. I like the trunk rattling, you know what I'm saying? My tuba, I want my tuba to sound like, I don't want to sound like boom, boom, boom. I want them to sound like that Houston, H-Town, Port Arthur, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Trunk rattling. That's what I want my tuba to sound like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm doing it on purpose. So my mission, I've been doing a lot of research on cultural authenticity, curriculum that fits your demographic, advocacy, and and I'm about to publish a couple of works on that coming really soon. We've been working with UIL, Alex Frazier and I, and a couple of other bands doing traditional style marching to make sure that they understand our style, so that we can be judged fairly. Because you don't want to get judged on the sound that you're not really trying to produce. So to know what the flashing is about. So we've been working with these judges. We've been working with our district, and that's kind of the challenge the biggest challenge that we face, being accepted for who we are. Of course, our bands get accepted for who they are, and they don't. You know, a lot of times they don't even be as good as our bands, as talented as our students. So just that's the main goal. Kind of what y'all doing, band life. You know, getting the coach out there. Making sure that people understand that, yes, we are for real. We are not less than. I don't think there's no difference between hot cross buns and playing BMF. It's still 3 notes, and that's what it is. If I got to, I would rather teach BMF than hot cross buns and Mary Had a Little Lamb. I don't think there's no difference in that. I think that the notes that I played at Ted Southern on the mellophone, if you know anything about Ted Southern mellophones, you know that, yeah, we can be thick on the lows, but we known for the highs. I think that is more, that it takes more talent to do that than it does to play on the march. So that's my main mission. I saw your interview with PJ last night. Everybody got their soapbox, and my soapbox is we are not less than. We are at least equal to, but in my opinion, man, we greater than.
Yeah,
man. That's it.
I feel that. It's my, as I can see, my co-host, Ricky. Ricky, man, you got some questions for him? I know you do.
What's up? Look at Ricky, man. Go ahead, Ricky. You're going to make me drive to Baton Rouge, bro. What's happening with you? You know I want it.
Huh?
What's happening with you, bro?
Oh, man, shit. Just got back in the house, took a shower, drinking me some cold water.
Fishing? She was fishing?
I had to go help my homegirl daddy do some stuff. They pipe bust under their house, and he like 72 years old, so he couldn't get under that. So I went and did it for him.
Heard that, Ricky.
Man, y'all don't know nothing about no fishing, man.
Say, bro, there you go, Mark. I ain't saying nothing, but I might be going like 5 in the morning. I might be, bro.
Where you going?
I might go to Hopedale out there.
I ain't going back to Hopedale. Alligator Gauze too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, alligator gauze too bad out there. Boy, I take you to Furnishing and change your life. I was in Golden Meadow on a boat Sunday.
I won't come catch a old 50-piece like you be catching. I be seeing all the damn fish you be having on there, bro.
Man, listen, let me show you something, man.
Look at Mark, listen, Mark. He don't know nothing about no fishing.
I don't know.
I get down though, Mark. Yeah, we can get down here, bro. For real.
Man, look, I understand y'all got Lake Pontchartrain, you know what I'm saying? But I live on the Gulf of Mexico, you understand what I'm saying? I'm from Texas, man. Everything bigger than Texas, you understand what I'm saying?
Right. There you go.
There you go. Even the egos, huh?
Eagle.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We wouldn't be band directors if we didn't have egos, you know what I'm saying? Who want to go out there who want to go out there and put on a mediocre performance? You get what I'm saying?
We not about to culture, man. Hold on, let me turn the camera on.
Oh no. I tell my kids all the time, man. You know, just like you, man. I grew up as an athlete too, man. And in middle school, I had to make a decision whether I was gonna go to high school for baseball, go to the school for marching band, go to full shape for marching band. And I chose marching band because I'm like 5'6", 5'7", you heard me? I ain't have elite speed. I was good. I didn't have elite speed. So I was like, well, let me go do this band thing, man. You know? What's up,
only reason I ain't never moved to Beaumont because there ain't number one good food spot in Beaumont. That's Papa Do's and that chicken wing place right by Lamar, right behind the McDonald's.
Hey, you are totally, hey, man, I'm not going to talk down on Beaumont because I live here now. But see, what you got to understand is I'm from Port Arthur, man, and that's something totally different. I'm from Port Arthur,
You ain't got
Texas.
number the bridge and a taco stand in Memorial.
Look here, we the capital of food, sir. So this is what I'm gonna do for you. This is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do for you, bro.
Whoa there, whoa.
The capital of
I had better
food.
food.
The capital.
Hey, Wonder, D. I had better food in Lake Charles than I ever had in Beaumont or Port Arthur.
Oh man, see, this is what I'm gonna do for you. This is what I'm gonna do for you, Mr. Watkins. This is what I'm gonna do. You come down to Port Arthur, right? You come down to my area, right? Don't worry about food. Don't worry about money. Don't worry about a place to stay. I got you. Don't worry about fishing poles. I got you. And I'm going to show you how good it is. Free of charge.
Guess what? While you saying that, I'm supposed to be taking a job at Southwest Baptist in Beaumont as a pharmacy tech on a contract coming up. So you put your foot in your mouth, I'm coming.
Man, Ricky gonna catch a great out there. You ain't saying number the word.
Hey man, look.
Ricky
you
is
can
coming.
You can look. When we gonna go to the first day we gonna go out to eat, right? The second day I'm gonna cook. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put out this. I'm gonna fry the fish,
first day
and
we
then I'm
gonna
gonna
catch fish. I ain't buying no fish. We gonna catch fish.
You right. Correction. We're gonna catch some fish, right? And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that grill out, I'm gonna make it real hot, you feel what I'm saying? And then I'm gonna go around the backyard, I'm gonna go in my garden, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm gonna get my herbs, my rosemary, my sage, I'm gonna season my own food from fresh ingredients from my own thing. Then I'm gonna pick the spinach, the okra, the corn and all that, the green beans.
Spinach and okra. You gonna waste your time.
Boy,
hey, look. You ain't never had mine. That's why you ain't never had mine. And how?
Say Mo. Well, a lot of light, bro. My herbs right there, bro.
Okay.
Hey, look. Black people doing it.
Cook too.
You feel me?
I'm a cook too.
Yeah, man. We it's beautiful, man. We starting to rediscover. We starting to rediscover who we are, man. We knew how to cook.
That's what's going on with the COVID. We starting to find out. We starting to
find our way back.
Inner self. Who we really are, not who they told us we were.
Right. So, man, look. Go ahead.
But Mark, I've been seeing your I've been seeing your little band camps. I see what you're doing. I like what you're doing. But you better be glad I ain't in that golden triangle no more.
Hey man, I want you to come, man. That band camp, bro. I believe that we're the only one. I can't say for sure we're the only one that I know of. The only traditional, show style band in the state of Texas that's actually having camp. Now, our brothers of a lighter complexion in the core style world, they going full service. We have a district, Fort Natchez Groves, right down the street. They're a core style band. They're not even having virtual. They tell you if you don't want to go in person, then you can find yourself another school district to go to. So they're going full steam. I'm not going to say my opinion about that because it's got to be the pot calling the kettle black because of what I'm actually doing. But man, navigating disease, trying to keep everybody safe, our protocols, man, it's a lot of work. We've had a couple scares. Luckily, nothing came out of it. All the kids are negative, but man, if you come in with a little slight fever, you're going to get tested. You know what I'm saying? You got to sleep right now. You know what I'm saying? It's hard. It's very hard.
As far as band camp, I see y'all do marching. I see y'all play the full songs. I see the skits. But what are you implementing as warm up chorale, long tone, slurs? What type of fundamentals are you placing on them right now in the midst of camp?
How long you got? I say how long you got? Baby.
Hey, I tell you one thing. I ain't got nowhere to go. I'm at home.
Right.
Baby. And music is everywhere. My daughter keep pressing this little
right now. Look, I'm at work right now.
I feel you. Now, every day, we do marching. But if you go to our band app, we have an app on band. You might not see that. But we go live every day, and we have period time every day, at least 2 hours. We're there from 8 to 5. So most time we practice outside from 8 to 11. Right now. Because the state of Texas has given us 20 hours of marching time on the field instead of the regular 10. So I may go to 8 to 12. We usually go to 8 to 10 usually on normal year. But 8 to 11, 8 to 12 when it gets too hot, we come in. But we have at least 2 hours of that 8 to 5 block, at least 2 hours of theory. because I believe, first of all, you got to understand my mode. I don't clap rhythms. I refuse to hum notes. I refuse to let you write notes on your paper or any of those things. Because I believe that if you teach a kid how to read, how to music has nothing but notes and rhythms and the dynamics, you know. So if you teach those kids those solid fundamentals and you deal with those every day for the majority of your time, then whatever music I put in front of them, they're gonna read. You see what I'm saying? So if I spend the upfront time getting them right, then we, like last year, for instance, we drilled to Spain by Algero. Now, I'm not saying we stood still and played Spain by Algero. What I'm saying is we drilled to Spain by Algero. We drilled to that, marching and playing. How do you get a band? Well, that's two ways. You can spend 3 months working on that one song, or you can get them so fundamentally sound to where they can just read. That's kind of my philosophy. So every day we come in, we study time signature. What does the top note number mean? What does the bottom number mean? The grand step, both bass clef, treble clef, and how they work together. Every day, and this is every day. Every day we sight read. Every day we get in the, I don't know if y'all are old enough to know about this, but the Raymond Fussell book, every day we're in the Fussell book, reading section 9, rhythm, clapping the rhythms, and then playing the rhythms. Every day we're working on scales. Every day. We have a system where we have, and high school kids like stars too, people. They like little stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? So we have a system with all their names on the board. And if you complete your B flat concert scale in 2 octaves with arpeggios, you get a star. If you complete section 9, measure 1 through such and such with your rhythms, you get a star. And we track our students on their progress. So by the time in my band program, I guarantee scholarships. And you know what happens when you guarantee? If you don't get it, you get sued. But what does scholarship consist of? Scales. You play your scales. You know all your scales. You play a prepared piece, solo ensemble. I require it in my band. And you do some sight reading, right? And if you do that to the best of the ability, you get big money, right? So if that's how you get the money, let's focus on that. And then when we focus on that, of course, you know, all the other stuff follows. So every day we work on theory. Every day we're playing a chorale. That's not just me doing it. Mr. Fraser is doing it. I know the band director at Sunset in Dallas is doing it. I know Terrence Brock at Dallas Carter. Like my whole circle, we kind of believe in the same philosophy. Do we like blowing? Yes. Does it take time to train somebody to blow? Yes. You know. But if you spend most of the time on fundamentals, your range improves, your reading improves, your stamina improves. So, and if we ever get to a time where we get to move on and the kids start kind of not paying attention to those details, all right, everybody, children, we've obviously haven't learned what we need to learn. So take out your notebook. We're gonna do some theory. You know, they falling out now. But you know, they get it better and better. Now they holding each other accountable. Yeah, I know, but someone's gonna trip on you if you don't know this theory, if you don't know this and that. So now we writing songs together. Now I'm saying, okay, y'all want to play the song? Let's get on the board. What's the one chord? What's the first chord in this piece? So now they're creating everything that you've seen on our band camp as far as the drill purposes. They created that this year. This year I'm trying to teach them how to do those things. So getting a person to be self-sufficient is my real goal on every aspect of music. So I'm glad you asked that because we do that all day, every day. It's all about fundamentals.
Like, and another question. Okay, say Wendell is a middle school director in New Orleans. Say Wendell was to move to Beaumont and get a middle school band.
Please, come.
What, as being a band director at Beaumont United, what process of building a relationship for a middle school band director that could come in, teach the love, teach the fundamentals, and it'd be like your feeder? What would you do to embrace them to the city of Beaumont and to the middle school culture that's probably missing out there as far as a feeder school to bring and working with him to bring him up from the middle school and help him bring, bring some of his kids over a couple of days out the week to practice with the band and get familiar with it, maybe get with the school district, let the A grade. What would be the process that you would accept that his A graders in him into your program? Because a lot of middle school directors and high school directors does not intertwine because the high school director look down on the middle school director. So what would be the process of building that relationship? If you can give a good example to everybody that's going to probably watch this, that's in middle school, that's getting a middle school director as a high school director in that area, if you get what I'm saying, building a relationship with a middle school director such as Wendell and new to your area to build a solid foundation from the middle to the high school level. How would you incorporate that to what y'all would do if y'all was in the same city?
Okay, so first of all, you got to realize that I started off as a middle school band director. My biggest part of my reputation is what I did with my middle school. We would go to high school battle bands and win grand championships, So I understand, and when I first got to middle school, when Alex Frazier and Trent Johnson can tell you this is the truth, I wasn't feeling the love from my high school, exactly what you explained it to. Me and Frazier had a relationship, but me and Trent at first did not have a relationship like we should have had. My second go around it was much better, and I respect Trent so much. But their relationship is very important. So in building a band program, you have to build that feeder up. So now what would I do? What do I do? When I was in Dallas, and when I was in Port Arthur, and when I'm in Beaumont. I think it's important to give your middle schools the support. So now I wrote the curriculum for the middle school in Port Arthur. I wrote the curriculum for the middle school and the high school in Beaumont as far as band is concerned. So we can be vertically aligned. There's certain stuff that I'm going to need you to do as a middle school band director to make sure that we're having that feeder continual. We have not achieved that all the way in Beaumont, but we are working on that. We have an awesome, phenomenal new fine arts director, Ray Levan, that's really helped us to try to, and he graduated from McNeese State. He's our fine arts band director. He graduated from McNeese State. He was a drum major at McNeese State. He was the band director in Orange, West Orange. He's out of Lake Charles, I think originally, but he came over, and I have a real confidence in him. But what I do now is like Joshua Robinson. He's one of the guys we just hired at one of our middle school feeders. He graduated from Alcorn State University, but he would come around the band every summer because he's from Beaumont, and he would kind of like, hey man, can I work with the band? So we've been kind of taking him under our wing. I've learned some stuff from him. He's learned some stuff from me. But establishing that relationship, like Mr. Wendell said, that love, because I have to make myself available to the middle schools, right? So I have to make time in my schedule to where I go down and help them. What do you need to be successful? Do you need instruments? Like the first year Beaumont United, they wanted to give us like, I'm not gonna quote numbers because I don't want to get going there, but it was a large sum of money to go towards buying us new instruments, us and the high school across town. My suggestion was, why would you buy it for us when we don't have the numbers to justify that? Why don't you split that money across the middle schools and get us next year? I said, first of all, is this money going to come back? Say, it's going to be a recurring thing. It's like, okay, cool. We'll get the middle school straight this year. Little did I know Hurricane Harvey was going to hit the next year and wipe all that out. So I never did get the money the next year. But I was happy because the middle schools now have the instruments and equipment that they need to be successful. They also have the curriculum that they need to be successful now. So now all they need is the help, maybe in some areas, different strategies to reach our students, where they are and kind of making it exciting for them. But I spend, with me, my assistant, Mr. Robert Underhill, I spend a lot of time at the middle school campus. So it doesn't take two people to teach a class, and we're blessed to have an assistant band director. So if he's teaching a class, I'm at the middle schools. If I'm teaching a class, he's at the middle schools. So we come up with the plan that we want the middle schools to follow. We've come up with the support for instruments and stuff that we want to enable them to follow our plan. And then we've also come up with a way to support them in whether it be private lessons, whether it be teaching a class and giving just the band director a relief for the day from all the stuff they're going through, helping them be successful. So we have a plan in place, and with time, that plan will work. It worked in Port Arthur. If you notice, about 2007, Port Arthur Memorial had about 21 people in the band. Now there are 14 or 15 grand championships straight in. You see what I'm saying? So we built. The football team does not teach somebody how to catch a ball in ninth grade, right? Basketball team does not teach nobody how to dribble in ninth grade. You know what I'm saying? They've been doing it since they could walk. You know what I'm saying? So in sixth grade, the most important thing is not me. I have to, as a director, and this is not a shot to anybody. I'm just telling you what as a director, I have to realize that if I'm going to be successful, I need to support Wendell. You know what I'm saying? I need to make sure that he's successful, because when he's successful, then I will be successful and I can sustain that. Now I'm not graduating more people than I'm putting in. Now, now those people that I'm putting in are of a quality, because we are 5A high school in state of Texas. We were a 6A high school last year. So that means when we go to UIL, when we go to March contest, we are graded at the highest level. No matter how big or small our band is, we are graded at the highest level of performance expectations. So these kids can't just, like in Houston, I think a lot of schools are 4A and 5A. In Dallas, a lot of them 4A, 5A. So there's a level of competition that they expect. So you might not have to read nothing but, and this is not a shot, this is just how UIL works. You might not have to read nothing but certain rhythms or certain keys. We have the highest level of expectations. So if we're not getting kids that's ready to do that, then we automatically fail. We're automatically behind. Some of the stuff I talked about with theory, I maybe shouldn't have to be teaching, but I have to humble myself and say, you know what, I shouldn't have to teach it, but that's what we're going to have to do. And if I have to do that, then my middle school band directors have to do that, or I'm going to make a fuss about it. Oh, please, I believe it. But I'm not going to make a fuss without the support. How can I get on you for not doing something when I'm not actually supporting you? So a combination of all those things is necessary. Go ahead.
So are you making a fuss to the fine arts director?
You don't fuss with the fine arts director if you want to get what you want. You have to know how to talk to people, right? But yes, these things are brought up. These things are discussed. You can't be afraid to discuss them. You can't be afraid to discuss them with your middle school directors. You can't be afraid to say, this is what's happening and this is not acceptable. But when you say something that is not acceptable, when you make a complaint, you understand what I'm saying? Who wants a complaint without a solution? You have to be willing and ready to do the extra stuff it takes to implement said solution, right? So I can write a curriculum for them, but if I'm not helping them, what does that matter? So when I go to the fine arts director, when I go to my principal and say I need this extra time, I can say, this is what I've done. I've created a curriculum. This is what I envision. This is what other schools that comparable to our size and our level are doing. I want the best for my kids, so this is what I'm going to have to do to be successful in doing that. Excuse me. So now I have to live up to that as well. So it's not about demanding. See, a lot of people demand respect. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But not many people command respect, and demanding respect is different than commanding respect. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Joseph Madison, he's in Memphis, Tennessee. He taught me that when I was a section leader at Texas Southern. My first year, I was a sophomore, and they had people that were more qualified to be a section leader than I was. But by process of events and my work ethic and my discipline that I showed, they took a chance on me, and I thank you. I thank them. But at first, I was demanding that people, y'all gonna have to listen to me. Y'all gonna have to do this. You're gonna have to do that. Okay, that's cool. But people don't really want that. They want somebody that doesn't have to demand that commands that kind of attention, that commands that kind of respect. And how do you command respect? By putting forth a product, by putting forth solutions, by being in the trenches with somebody. This is how you command respect, and you don't have to demand it when you do that. So I don't have to fight with my fine arts director. I've always, except for one time, I've always had a good, when I first started, I was real hot-headed, and I did not understand. I understood this concept, but I did not practice this concept, right?
Yeah.
So once I learned first about it's not about, you can't control how people receive your message, but you can control how you send it. Once I learned that lesson, and when I started, because I always did the work, I always had the plan, but I wasn't controlling how I sent my message. And I'm not saying nobody else is not controlling how they send a message. Sometimes it's just a situation where, let's just say your finance director is a butthole. Your principal just don't care. Whatever. I understand it. And I've been in those situations before. But I do think that as a band director, if my band is not good, then it's my fault. I'm the head band director. They're not gonna say, oh, them kids messed up. They're gonna say the band messed up. They're not gonna say, oh, them kids just don't want to learn. They're gonna say, what you doing as a band director? Why is your band not good? So if the responsibility is going to be on me, I argue that I should be able to control certain aspects of this responsibility. You see what I'm saying? And I don't come with a blank argument. I come with solutions. This is the curriculum that I wrote. This is the research that I've done. I don't come with emotional arguments. Right. A lot of times, and it is an emotional thing. Don't get me wrong. It is. I do get emotional. I do get passionate about it. But a lot of times, saying that just because we black, that's why they don't like us. Maybe that's true. I'm not disputing it, but that's not going to win. That's not going to win. You have to show forth that you've studied this. You have to give the proof, the bibliography, if you will, of what you're saying. You see what I'm saying? The sourcing of what you is. What they say on Facebook. You have to have credible sources. You feel what I'm saying? You know. So now it's about how I'm approaching the situation. And thank God, He's took me through the things that I've been through. I've not always been the best person. I've not always been the right person, but I've always been a person that listens and a person that adjusts. And thank God that I've been through the things I have. Thank God that He let me go through those things and mess up and survive those things so that I can have the wisdom now to know how to approach situations. So now I'm going to help. I'm not going to just demand in my middle school. I'm not going to talk down on them because they're not doing something. What I'm going to do is, hey, do you need help? Okay. What do you need? What resources do you need to help me to help you be successful? And if I've done all that, then who's gonna get mad at me for saying, well, we may have to move on from this person? So this is a plug, shameless plug. Hey man, look, Beaumont is the place to be. I wrote the curriculum. You feel what I'm saying? Like, Mr., if you want to come out here, I got spots for you. I got 2 choir director positions. I have some middle school positions that open. This closed now, which is we just hired some people. But you never know. I'm telling you, next year, be looking to come to Beaumont because we gonna revolutionize the game. That's all I got to say. You know,
I'm gonna say it like this: ain't no chance in the world. I'm New Orleans to the bone, and that's a wrap on that. But look, on the real though, like seriously, like I'm gonna thank you, Ricky, for asking that question because you know I needed that. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I'm so into what you're saying is because we don't have an advisor over a fine arts advisor over the band programs here in New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? No band director really has no one to answer to. You know, so me hearing your system, I understand it like totally. You know, especially just coming up. I worked in a restaurant for 16 years, so I know what it is to kind of be overlooked, but supervised. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody, but us, you know, a lot of times band directors, they coming out of college, they going straight into band. You never really had that experience of someone demanding that you work to a certain capacity. You know what I'm saying? So on Crucial Conflict a couple of weeks ago, we had a couple legendary band directors on. One was Doc Harris. He was over at Kennedy for a long time.
Right.
And he talked about the rigor that he had to go through when he was getting his first job over at Woodson, through the supervisor. Like, you know, he was telling the story how he had to play every instrument in the band, and how he had to do this and that. They scored it, and he scored the highest number, and that's how he got that job, even though that was a long wait for a job. right?
Crazy.
So you know, that really brought me to like, it's no wonder the quality of band directors we had that when we were coming up, because they had to go through so much. And now it's like, you know, especially here in New Orleans after Katrina, like the jobs were open, and if you had a little qualification, you got it. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing to go through. And you know, I'm gonna say this: we all know that New Orleans is the mecca of bands, right? But at the same time, you know, this is one thing that make us the mecca, and we have these discussions. And I was on the show maybe a week ago, and as a middle school director, I got the question, even though it was my first year, why is it the feeling that middle school kids are not coming out of middle school ready for high school? You know what I'm saying? And you know, that brought me immediately back to what Doc Harris said. We don't have any supervision. So you got band directors that might stay at a school for a certain amount of time that shouldn't be there, you know, to build a certain quality. I wouldn't necessarily, you know, because if we had a supervisor, it would be more, I think it probably would be more focused on more of a comprehensive program than a program that's just ready for the street, ready for Mardi Gras, ready for football games. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and I know that has a direct effect on the quality. You know, I was on a show last night. You know, you could go watch Crucial Conflict. You could see what the topic was about. It was about what is more important, tone or reading. You know, and you know, it's a whole thing of coming to. It takes a lot to come together at the same time. But there was some argument saying that reading is not as important as tone. You know, because we got people that can read, but they sound like crap. But like, I'm like, how you gonna thrive in college? How you gonna thrive anywhere if you don't have? You can thrive in these brass bands that we have in New Orleans and not be able to read, because it's more about feeling, it's more about soul. And if you're a drummer, you may not know how to read, but if you know, a lot of times drummers know all their rudiments and stuff, and they can get the grooves and stuff like that. So you can be a gigging drummer without knowing how to read. But we all know one thing: your level stops here when you can't read. There's so much more to explore in the music world. You know, so I'm really, like I said, I'm really into it because, you know, I'm a first year band director, but, you know, I kind of express what I feel. I feel we need that. And, you know, if we had a little bit of that, man, to just think about the quality. We already the mecca of bands. We already got pretty much have the best marching bands coming up the street. I mean, we bred like that. And then that's a sin and a curse at the same time too, because we always getting ready for the gig. It's that here in New Orleans. As soon as you come back, you got these football games. Right after that, you got Mardi Gras, which is a season that other cities don't have. You know what I'm saying? So it's always a demand to be ready to play. And you know, my philosophy is kind of just like yours. You know what I'm saying? Being an athlete, and you know, I was a coach for 10 years. I'm gonna just put it like this. I've only won third place one time, and I've been to the championship every other time. You know what I'm saying? Coaching baseball and softball. I played football coming up. Say it again?
Yeah.
Oh, you there? Oh. I can't see.
Yeah, I just got a new AT&T just came today, bro, and this internet still not sorted out, but I called it in just in case that something was to happen like this. So yeah, you can't see me maybe, but I'm still here.
Heard that.
But you know.
But just to wrap it up, Ricky, because he said so much that was wonderful, bro. And same philosophy, man. I think fundamentals are super important. Coming into my first year last year, you know, I had my first year hiccups, and we didn't get mouthpieces until, you know, maybe in the middle of October. So we didn't make noise on a mouthpiece to the middle of October. But that whole while, because I didn't have mouthpieces, all I did was work on theory. You know what I'm saying? And now we about to start this COVID thing. And it's kind of like I'm telling my kids online, don't even trip, because they're gonna phase it back in, but we're gonna start the school year just like we started last year, doing this theory. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, we didn't touch a mouthpiece until October, but we wound up having 13 songs for Mardi Gras, and that was because my kids realized how to clap rhythm patterns. So when we got to the songs, I passed out a sheet with all the main rhythms on it, and the whole class clapped. Everybody, okay, we're gonna clap the trombone rhythm, whole class, pop, pop, whatever it is. We clapping the trumpet rhythm, the main part. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, Mark, I'm just glad you touched on that like you did, bro. You know, like you said, I don't want to rehash it too much, but the fundamentals are just so important.
Okay, let me kind of like, hold on, let me mute this other one.
No.
Yo, turn your mic on.
No, can't hear you.
Turn your mic on, bro. Oh, you must be dealing with two phones.
I'm gonna elaborate on that topic, Wendell.
Go ahead, man.
If you teach a child proper tone, long tones,
Definitely.
proper warm-up chorales, all the major, minor chromatic scales, concert band clinic, work on tonation, work on the proper air output, the staggered breathing, learn how to breathe on. If you got a dotted half note in a measure with a quarter rest, you breathe 1, 2, 3. You breathe on the fourth beat. You breathe when you're supposed to breathe. Don't breathe on. People like me catch that stagger breathing when you ain't supposed to breathe, because you got 9 trumpets and you the only one doing that. You gonna stick out. So when they say a person with bad tone, it starts when that child first pick up that horn on how you got to teach them proper technique on how to put the right amount and sufficient amount of air per fingering per note of what you got slide position. That starts from the beginning. When that first child, you ask that child, what you want to play? Trumpet. Play me a C. D. Like it's every note requires a certain amount of armature work and a certain amount of air. If you don't have the right air capacity, the note's gonna come out wrong. I don't care if you press the right finger. Definitely. I can play an A flat like this. If I'm that ain't gonna start like trash. And then most band directors teach these kids how to do this. That ain't doing nothing. Dude, you playing on a 7C mouthpiece. You supposed to be in the pocket.
Hey, man. Hold on. I gotta stop you. Okay, so full disclosure, if you see me playing, you gonna see me. But now check it out. It wasn't always like this. Right before I went to Texas Southern, my wisdom teeth came in. You know what I'm saying? So they had to cut them out. They had to actually surgically remove them. So ever since then, like it wasn't pulled. They were growing in. They wasn't growing in up. They were growing in like down.
They was pushing against the back teeth.
Yeah, so they were growing that way, and they wasn't growing towards my jaw. So they cut them out. They couldn't even pull them. So ever since then, I've not been able to control, my cheeks from puffing.
But
and
that's
it hurts.
different.
It really hurts. It really hurts. It's not good. It's not good because I cut up all my cheeks when I play because they stretch so big to where the cheek inside of the cheek rip. You be spitting out cheek.
Oh, man,
man, it's crazy.
Now you say that, Mark. What happens is you have your jawbone goes like this.
Right.
And so you have nerves inside your gums and that controls your armature. When they cut it, they cut nerves too. So what happens is the amount of technique that you are used to playing, you had to blow a little harder to sustain and push out the amount of pressure for the correct notes to be projected. So by them cutting, that's a different story. I'm talking about the ones when you see 8th graders and 9th grader, and you sit up there like you is cocking back, blowing, and you be like, damn, what the hell? Who teaching him? Like, I don't know. You remember Tennille was on the show with y'all?
Yeah.
And they played Stay Out There?
Yeah, bro.
D recorded that.
Okay.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on.
There you go.
Hey,
let me tell you something real quick. Real quick, man. There's a musician here in New Orleans, famous musician, played jazz, man. Like the Dizzy Gillespie effect. Like he's blowed so much with so much pressure that he has to blow like this to keep his neck right here from coming like way out there.
Who do that?
He's playing like this. The whole no, there's a musician in New Orleans right here right now, a jazz musician.
Okay.
That
but what I'm saying,
I'm talking like his whole neck come out, dog, like for real, straight up.
And the thing is, what I was getting back with Tennille, me and D stopped at his school, and I asked him, let them play. Did vouch for it?
Yeah.
And I told Tennille, I say, Tennille, you got to outthink the people you're battling. You got to outthink them. Everybody at the lineup gonna crank. Guess what? You got 40 kids, sound like 50 kids. Tone the drum down, bring the horns up, and meet the drummers where meet the drummers with the sound and go above the drum. So everybody could be heard. If you got a full sound and somebody just blowing and cranking and sounding bad, you get the W anyway. In my book, I prefer musicianship over cranking any day.
Right.
So the core of teaching that musician from day one how to properly buzz, blow into the reed, even play the trombone, the slide position, all that. Even drummers, the proper technique. If you teaching a drummer to play like this here with 2 drummers all through middle school, when he come to Beaumont United and they playing like this here, they're in the pocket, he gonna come now. No form.
Right. No form.
Now what's gonna happen is you taking a wild child on now he can play all his rudiments like this. Put prime example. Wendell. Take a tenor drum player from Texas Southern, Kennedy. John like New Orleans, a good tenor drum. Go. A Southern playing like this here. And send him to Alabama.
Right.
It's hard for a child to come from Alabama to go to Texas Southern and play on
chest.
It's hard because they play down.
Right, because he learned that technique. And therefore it's hard to unlearn that technique playing it. That's why it's important to start them off. Right. Like now, you got good. Now, to what my man Wendell was saying, you got good, players that puff their teeth. He said one, but trombone short, they puff one side. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm familiar with him. He got that one big cheek, and he got the other one that, but how much, like to Ricky's point, how much, and he's great. I can't play like him. You know what I'm saying? Like, but
I understand.
But how much more sound would he get if he wasn't losing it in his cheek? You know what I'm saying? How much Dizzy Gillespie, we know Dizzy Gillespie, what's the other one? What a Wonderful World. What's his name?
What's the Marcel?
Armstrong?
Louis Armstrong. Not Louis Armstrong.
Talking about Marcellus?
No, because he played with a pretty good armature. I'm talking about I See Clouds of Blue. That dude.
Louis Armstrong.
Yeah, Louis Armstrong, He carried that towel because all the nerves in his lips was dead and they would split so bad, so he would wipe the salve on his mouth all the time. How much longer would his career have been? How much, if he was just learning with the right technique, how much more power? So I'm not going to go and say that that you can't be great, but I can say that you'll have a better chance at it if you have the proper. You don't have to overcome all the other stuff.
What I'm saying is this: most kids think big jaws produce better sound.
No, they don't.
But you get what I'm saying? Like you see a lot
Right.
of kids. You see a lot of kids in college bands. Man, stay in the pocket. Yo, diaphragm, air. You cutting your windshield when you do this here. When you can't breathe. I'm asthmatic. I know this. I had to take asthma class working for the state of Louisiana in a pharmacy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
But what I'm saying is, if that child is trained properly coming up in 5th and 6th grade, about time that child get to 9th grade, he gonna be awesome.
Definitely.
Right. And I kind of want to address something that Wendell said a little bit earlier. He was like, New Orleans doesn't have fine arts directors, right? And he liked what I was saying, but at the same time, how can you envision what I'm saying if you don't have it, right? And I got something to say about that. Okay, so now in Texas, it's only like 8% of the bands in Texas are military style, right? They don't even have the stats on the bands that are traditional style. So that means the vast majority of bands are core style, right? So that means the vast majority of districts and what we look at Texas is more geared towards that style of band, right? Even the military bands don't like it. But what comes with it. So what good is having a fine arts director if they don't understand what you're trying to do? So it's kind of like, even if you have one, you know, if they're not understanding what's happening, it's like you don't have none. So what do you do when you either have an absent fine arts director that can't like kind of do these things, or what do you do when you have a fine arts director that you have one, but it's really not listening or trying to, right. I'm trying to say, I'm in Texas, so I have to say stuff a certain way. What do you do in those situations?
Yeah.
Okay, that goes back to what I was saying about taking the responsibility and the accountability on yourself. Is it fair? No, it's not fair. Is it right? No, it's not right. But it is reality. You understand what I'm saying? So now with that reality, what do you do? Do you sit and do you wallow? Or do you get up and get busy and do something or anything? You know, even if you're not successful, do you try every day? Do you work through discouragement, right? Do you persevere through discomfort? You understand what I'm saying? So how do you do that? Have a plan, man. They don't pay attention to y'all like y'all need to in the New Orleans. I've talked to a lot of band directors in New Orleans. I've talked to a lot of people that's not necessarily band directors, but do have a finger on the pulse of the things. And it's the same thing in Houston. Same thing. They have fine arts directors, but they're not, because Houston is so big. It's the 3rd largest city in the country. You know, it's hard for one fine arts director to get to every school and to pay their individual attention. I'm a small city of 110,000 people, so it's easier to get that ear right. But what do you do? I have taught in Houston. I have taught in Dallas. So what do you do in those situations? You go in there with a plan and you work that plan. I see Terrence Brock in Dallas in the same situation. You know, he makes himself. We all understand that squeaky wheels get greased, right? We all understand that closed mouths don't get fed, right? We all understand that a closed fist can't receive nothing, right? We say these things, right? But how effective are we, or not effective? How diligent are we in doing these things, right? How diligent are we as a high school band director going to my middle schools and making sure that they have all the things needed? How diligent am I as a middle school director, demanding, in the right way, of course, the things that I need. You see what I'm saying? Or do I get discouraged because this is the way it's always been? When I came to Beaumont, they told me there's no way. I told them we had a meeting, with all the Central and the Ozan people, and I got in trouble, y'all, because as you can see, my personality is kind of in your face. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they asked me, are we gonna continue to do the traveling and stuff like that? And how you gonna get the instruments? And I laughed, and I didn't laugh because I didn't think their question was valid. I laughed because I knew what I was going to do. I said, oh, no, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about that. They're not going to have to pay for that. We're going to go a whole bunch of places, and we're going to have instruments fixed, and we're going to even have new instruments. And they were like, man, everybody say that, whatever, this think he's something. You know what I'm saying? Before band camp started, I had $70,000 worth of repairs of instruments. Before over the last 2 years, I've been blessed to have. I'm not gonna give a dollar amount because I don't want to. I just don't want to do that. But
I can go do it.
we just all. Yeah, well, yeah. Y'all go ahead and do that. We bought 7, 8 trombones. We bought marching baritones. We bought 10 clarinets. We bought 5, 10 flutes. We bought all these other things that people said that was not going to get done. But I'm willing to not only talk to people in the way that it needs to be said, with respect, but I'm also willing to talk to people that don't necessarily respect me, that don't necessarily share my ideology about things, and I'm willing to eat some stuff in order to get my point across, right? So there is definitely a system, but you got to know how to work the system. But there's also definitely avenues that you can go through to get like outside of your school system, outside of your fine arts director, outside of these things that are available to you, because rich people get write-offs. Remember that. I said that. That's the quote of the day. Rich people get write-offs. You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is we can't lose the hope. You see what I mean? We can't lose the determination. We can't lose the drive because of our situations. We all know the problems. We can enumerate them all day, but we cannot give up on our mission. And our mission, I saw one band director, oh man, I was so touched, in New Orleans. He's trading guns
Shamar
for trumpets.
Shamar
I saw that the other day.
Yeah, I saw that.
Who that is?
Shamar Allen.
Right. And I'm emailing, I'm texting him. On the phone. I'm trying to get his number. So if anybody got his number, man, shoot it to me, because I want to know. I asked him. I say, well, are you talking about school instruments, or are you talking about getting instruments like just for them to have for them? And you said, man, that's for them. And I'm like, man, how you do that? You see what I'm saying? So I'm trying to network with other people. A lot of times, yes, we have egos, but it's stuff that I don't know. So I'm going to ask. And I expect when I ask that you tell me.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like they have networks for core style bands. I'm gonna say it like that. I'm not gonna say a skin color, but they have organizations that's geared toward core style bands. They have organizations that's geared toward military bands. We have little small, like we have band, like we have National Show Band Association. Little small, meet me on the 50. Some people that's doing like they little thing and they trying to get it together, but it's not. We got 10 different little organizations, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not talking down on 10 different little organizations, because they got 100 big organizations and they all start little. You see what I'm saying? But what I am saying is we have to realize that we're all in the same boat. We all in the same ship, right? And it's sailing in the wrong direction. You know what I'm saying? It's sinking. You see what I'm saying? And the course is actually plotted for it to do that. So what we have to realize is that we have to come together. We have to network. I'm glad that I had this interview, because now I've met Mr. Stewart. So now I can reach out to him and say, hey, let's talk about some things. I can reach out to Mr. Frazier and I can say, even though he's my biggest rival, he's the person that I look up to the most. You see what I'm saying? I can reach out to Terrence Brock. I can reach out to Deontay Kennedy. And if you know anything, all these people that I'm naming did not always get along with each other. But I feel I've reached out to all these people, and I feel like we need to change these things in order so we can pool our resources. I can show you how to get that thing with HEB, and you can show me how to do some stuff. Like it's some stuff that like New Orleans does that I really would like to. You talked about how the guy from JFK motivated kids. You see what I'm saying? I want to know what you know. I want to talk to Mr. J. If you talk to Mr. J, leave 3 hours because he gonna talk to you. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't go to Southern. You see what I'm saying? I want to talk to Mr. J. Brian Simmons. I've gotten to the point with him because I remember when he was in Houston living with Clarence Gibson when I was in school. So I've been knowing him since before when Katrina happened, you know, and he was out there in Houston. So I've been knowing him for a long time. So even though he's younger than me, I still called him up. Hey man, how you did that? Why does your band look like this when they march? You see what I'm saying? And he gives this information willingly. He doesn't hold the information because I'm from Texas Southern and he's from Southern. So we have to establish these connections because you might not have a fine arts director, but you do have me. You see what I'm saying? I pledge that for anybody, you have me. I will spend the time and get it with you. And I know plenty of people that will do this, but maybe it's the channels, maybe the networks are not established. So let's establish these networks so we can work together. So even though you don't have somebody to go to, hey man, don't worry about it. You don't need a fine arts director. I'm gonna show you how to get this money, baby. I'm talking about cash and money. You feel me? And you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna say it in a way. I'm not gonna say it with my graduation GPA of 5.95, and I'm not gonna say it in a way where I graduated number 3 at Texas Southern or I got my master's degree off the top. I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna say it in a way. You see what I'm saying? Where I came from, in the language that we talk. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm not trying to be above you. We are all equals. I don't have an assistant band director. Mr. Robert Hunter, he's a white guy. I don't have an assistant band director. When Byron Hunter was my assistant band director, I don't have an assistant band director. If you weak, you can't work with me. If you're not ready to get into that argument and defend your position, you're not going to last with me. I can tell you that right now. So I don't have an assistant band director. I have equals. You see what I'm saying? If you're not my equal, you can't be around me too long anyway because you're gonna get mad and you're gonna be afraid and you're gonna leave anyway. So I have equals. So I want to work with Mr. Stewart. I want to work with Band Life. I want to work with Mr. Watkins. I want Mr. Watkins to come down here and get that job in Beaumont. You feel me? And so we can go ahead and he can put his knowledge with my knowledge and see what that does is it doesn't decrease me. What it does is it increases me. Because I'm gonna tell y'all gentlemen something right now. I'm the best band director in the world. You see what I'm saying? And the only thing that you can do by me going to you and humbling myself as the best band director in the world and asking you a question is to make me even better. You feel what I'm saying?
I heard that, man. I heard that, man.
Hey, sometimes.
I just said, let me say something real quick, and I'm.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that, definitely talking about some type of advisor. I would definitely advocate for someone who, knows the culture, because we do have a problem in New Orleans where we're getting taken over by these charter schools, and then you have administrative people that don't know the culture at all. Right. So it's a fight with the band directors to get somebody from New York to understand that we need all of these practices, we need all of these games, we need all of these classes and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's I think that's, and everything you said, I'm not knocking none of that. I totally agree. And I heard, I'm so ready to network, and that's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously. Yeah. But I just wish that, and like I said, I was in an interview where they asked the question about the band director, why are we not producing a certain quality of musician, even though it was my first year. And I feel like the 3 students that I sent to the 9th grade are going to be pretty good in high school. But I just think that, if we had somebody in place that knew our culture, but not even just to be over us, you know what I'm saying? But just to shout. Just to have a figure to be able to recognize when a band director been at a school 5 years and they're not producing, even someone for the high school band directors to go to and say, look, we've had this guy here for 5 years. Like the musicians are just not it. You know what I'm saying? We need to do something. And I think it's more about that, since they want to ask the question. You know, I'm not offended by it. It's actually why I got into it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I was in the music scene in the streets. So I'm seeing the musicians that's coming from high school into the music scene. And, you know, I'm
they
not gonna
can't
talk.
play.
You know,
say what you gotta
because
say.
I'm gonna tell you what it is. It's not that they can't play. No, they can definitely play. Actually, they're super gifted areas, especially with the ear, to be able to get up there and solo your ass off and maybe not even know what note you actually playing. You understand what I'm saying?
Let me tell you something.
But that may stop. That may send more quality ninth graders who will eventually be the section leaders of these bands. You know what I'm saying? And then you have a more quality product. And I'm just looking, you know, my opinions probably differ from a lot of other most band directors in New Orleans. And it's because I have a totally different view. Like I said, I was away from marching band for all of those years. But I wasn't away from music. I actually elevated myself in my musical status. You know what I'm saying? So it's just my view, and it's unpopular. But, you know, I'm about building a child to have these fundamentals and be able to make it in life and in college and thrive and not be one and done and stuff.
Watch this, Wendell. You have to dream bigger than a college band. Guess what? Once you march your 4 years, it's over with.
Yeah.
What you cannot gig. Listen, the mentality needs to start. Start taking your band kids to symphonies like Houston Symphony, Baton Rouge Symphony, New Orleans Symphony. Because what happened is they get to go, they realize, oh, we play this same type of music at concerts. I could be on stage with this big old ensemble making $500 a night.
You got to expose them.
If you let them understand the numbers, you play 4 nights a week at $500. That's $2,000 in your pocket, plus your regular job you got. So you could drive the fancy cars with legal money. You ain't got to be out there doing something. You ain't got no business, you know?
Not to cut y'all off. You see how it works? I'm texting my finance director right now. He gonna say, so what you trying to say? I guess he watching. Hey, Mr. LeVan, how you doing?
Shout out.
I'm just trying to say that you're great, bro. You the greatest thing that ever happened in my life. That's what I'm trying to say.
If anything was said negative, I take the charge for him.
Oh no, man, he's speaking some good. He's speaking good right now.
But what I'm saying is, like right now, I could go on my Facebook page and show y'all Southern drum major right now. Southern Trayvon Caesar that just leaving Southern from Lake Charles. I put him on F horn. He wanted to play trumpet. I put him on F horn his 9th grade year.
Oh, okay.
I helped mold him at Washington Marion. I worked at Washington Marion from 12 to 15 with Tamika.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know what? You sure did.
I was a troublemaker.
Matter of fact, now check this out. You know how small the world is? Like, in that time, y'all came to pull out the Battle of Bands, right?
I was 15 they did. I wasn't there. 16 they came.
Yeah, so now check this out. That band hall that they warmed up with that was my middle school band hall.
Okay.
No, huh?
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, but the thing goes like this, man. I tell a lot of kids, like when I see kids from Washington Marion, my question that know me, I tell them now, you ain't got to call me Mr. Ricky. I'm Ricky. You grown now. You grown. Once you graduate high school, I'm gonna see you at trail rides. You ain't gotta call me Mr. Ricky. You can say, "Hey, Ricky, how you doing?" You know, that just I had a bond with them kids. I back then, like they got band kids. I can call on the phone right now. You know, they'll say, "What's up, Uncle Ricky?" If you ever around me and they got kids from a Stroom around that time, different kids through Baton Rouge, they're gonna say, "Uncle Ricky." Oh, you know Big Angelo, you know Angelo Hamilton that played tuba from Baton Rouge?
Yeah.
If you ever talk to Angelo, say, Angelo, you know Uncle Rick, watch what he say. Man, that's my dog. That's my dog.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes, man, you got to have a vision in your heart. Not in your mind, in your heart. The vision of love for what you're gonna do. If you teach one is to reach one. And to reach one is to love one. So if one see you teaching, if one see you reaching out to another one to teaching, he gonna love what you doing. And once you do that, everybody gonna come together and grow as a unit. You know, the problem is, the problem is a lot of people want to say, oh, this is my favorite kid in the trombone section. I want all y'all in section with me. I want all y'all. Section leader, co-section leader. If he can't play them 3 parts, one of y'all finna go down there and push him and sit with him on this part in this song and play. Ain't no such thing as y'all just gonna crank first. Go on there in and help my thirds out. I need that fat. Push them. Matter of fact, section leader, coach, take them 4 thirds in the band room. Don't come out till they know their parts. 60%. I don't want to see y'all. I can last with my first trombone parts in practice. I need to hear my second and thirds going into performance time. I need that. I need y'all to be able to teach. When I'm working with the band, I need my leaders in the band to step up and say, Mr. Ricky, I'm gonna take these strings in a practice room and work with them. That's what I like. Most directors, you go in like my thing is, if you let me come in your band room and watch you practice one time, I can tell you things that'll help you, and I ain't got to come back. It's up to you. It's up to you to grasp what I'm telling you. Yeah. And the thing
I gotta be willing to humble myself in order to take what you say. Criticism. Now, what you say may or may not apply to my situation, but I can take, even if it don't apply to my situation, couldn't I just listen to you and like say, well, he meant this, and I know what he was saying, but it is an issue and he saw it. So let me try to what's going on. You see what I'm saying?
You know what?
A lot of times we're not ready to take that criticism. A lot of times we're not ready to you don't have to accept it.
You don't have to accept it. But be mindful how you talk about other people's programs in the street when your product. You can't talk about somebody driving a Nissan Sentra when you driving a 1973 Chevette hatchback with 3 hubs after the broke back window. You got to be mindful how you judge situations.
I think it's hard for us as just in a society we grew up, we don't like feeling played. And I think listen, I just think that we miss out on lessons because of the way somebody may have said it to us, and it might offend us. You know what I'm saying? It's hurting my feelings. So now I'm shutting you out completely. When the message, it's not about the delivery. It's about deciphering the message. So sometimes you just got to sit there and hear somebody talk some shit, but they dropping gems. But you're not catching the gems. It happens a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Watch this here. For example, Wendell, we could be in a group discussion, like 12 of us talking band. I can say something. They going to look at me like I'm stupid. Let somebody like Will say it. They're going to respect it. Same exact way. They're going to respect it because who he is in the band world.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They look at it as seniority. But like I tell people, I remember when people like Will, Lowe, and all them was in Southern Band when I was coming up. Like, dog, I remember, like, I didn't march in college, Mark, but I have that music knowledge because I was a trumpet player in high school, and I keep up with band, but I also go to symphonies and stuff. Like, if a woman gonna date me, she gonna have to fish, like people, travel, and go to stuff like symphonies. Like, I like classical music. Like, I can go sit there and just. Like, I can go to PWI games and listen to those bands play classical music and don't worry about it. And just sit there. Why? Because a musician is not susceptible to one gene of music. Genre.
One genre,
Right.
yeah.
Like, you can't sit up there and tell me you're a musician if you only know how to play Boosie and Webby songs on piano. Let me hear some Earth, Wind, and Fire. Let me hear them chord structures. Let me hear the phrases running through there. You know what I'm saying? You know, so you got to be motivated. Sometimes the smartest person, not the richest person.
Right.
Just because I don't have on polo, that don't mean I don't have.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I see this attitude, you know, kind of pervading our culture, that just because this person didn't march in this band, or just because this person doesn't have a degree, they can't tell you about what they feel is necessary.
Exactly.
Okay, so tell me this. Ask me a few questions right quick. You know, just follow me. Entertain me for a second. You know, who is our audience? Is our audience mostly people that have degrees?
Not at all.
But we have to please that audience, and if we don't remember our audience, we won't have one, right? Okay, well, then ask me another question. If somebody that never smoked crack in their life tell you shouldn't smoke crack, but then you got this person that smokes crack every day and say, hey, man, this is some bad stuff. You need to stay away from it. Which one you going to listen to? The one that had the experience? Right. So sometimes, and I'm going to preach a little bit, sometimes, you see what I'm saying? Sometimes, you see what I'm saying? God wants to make your enemies your footstool. You see what I'm saying? But just like Mr. Watkins said, you done rejected that footstool, so you'll never get to put your feet up because you don't understand what love really is. Love is not a feeling. Love is an action. You see what I'm saying? So now, even though you've done me wrong, even though you're not supporting me, even though you don't have a degree, whatever you want to say, even though these things may be true, can I not still love that person enough to not do the things that I don't want to happen to me? Okay, so now I'm treating people with the respect that I want from me. You see what I'm saying? Now you disrespect me, you know, in that moment I can't tell you what's gonna happen. Honestly speaking, because I'm not all the way there yet. But what I do know is when I've been successful, it's been even with my enemies. You know how many people that told me that you're teaching too much too fast. It's kind of like what Ricky said, like this last battle dance we won, I'm telling you, I was nervous because I said, man, this show is so boring, but it's gonna win. You know what I'm saying? And I want my kids to win for a change. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, we drilled to Spain with a trumpet duet. Then we went and we drilled to America the Beautiful. Oh, even worse. And then we kind of tried to finish. We kind of tried to finish with and I think Dan recorded that one. But we tried to finish with Coming to America. We made Africa on the field, right? So, but I'm knowing that I kind of got to remember the audience, so we had like a little hype dance routine or whatever. But I also want to impress the judges, and I want these kids to win. So now there's people that told me, "Oh man, you ain't gonna have nothing but a little N-word band," you know what I'm saying, or whatever, you know what I'm saying, like that. And those same people, when they come back and they see what's going on, they be like, "Hey man, now I want to help." Now, boom, I'm automatically remembering, but you said this. But you said we wasn't gonna succeed. But you said it wasn't no way we gonna get this money. But you said it wasn't no way we gonna get those superior ratings. And all of that, everything that I was doing was wrong. You see what I'm saying? But now I have a choice. I can remember that. I'm going to remember it. Don't get me wrong, because you don't want to let somebody that may be detrimental to your program into it. So you kind of be there. But you can you feed people with a long handled spoon? Can you do that? And they can still eat, right? So my point is, I have to humble myself, even though these things has happened, these things has been said, right? I have to humble myself to take that criticism that I may not like the source from. I may have to humble myself to be able to allow God to let them be my footstool. So now that same person that talked down, or that same person that said something, now I'm standing on them to get these instruments. Now I'm standing on them to you know what I'm saying, to get my kids somewhere that I need to be. So now, is it Is it about my ego? Because I already told you I'm the best band director in the world. I don't care who we talking to. You know, like I'm the best. Like you know, I already told you my ego is there, right?
Yeah.
So, but do I let my ego go unchecked? Do I let my ego go to a point where I can't put my feet up? You see what I'm saying? And let my Jordans, you know, rest on your back right quick. You know what I'm saying? But I have to love you. I have to love you enough to even let you back into that circle. You know what I'm saying? I have to love you as a human being enough to even listen to you and say, you know what? Everybody makes mistakes. Even though I don't agree with you, I can still work with you. So I'm all about, I'm good at, we good at enumerating the problems, right? We're good at numbering the problems. But I'm more solution oriented in my thinking. Right. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So like when he said about the fine arts directors, I say, well, I do have a good fine arts director, but it's not always been that way. What I will say is, let's not focus on what we don't have as much. We have to, because that's going to be the reason that drives you. Don't let that be the reason that stop you. Let that be the reason that drives you to go and do it.
I didn't have air conditioning in my band room, so I ain't letting nothing stop me. I didn't even have AC. Straight up.
Hey y'all, we got some questions in the comments. We got like 3 questions in the comments. So
hold on, hold on. But Mark, what I meant about constructive criticism, if you tell me, if I just say I was to take a 7-on-7 off job in Beaumont, and I'm there during the day, and you say, Rev Ricky, man, where you at? Come by the school to practice, and I'm standing on the sideline with you, Mark, squad 3, man 1. He's marching 1-2-5-7. He need to be 1-3-5-7. Once he correct that, that'll correct the whole side while the diamond shift. It'll be something like that. He won't be like, man, why them old sad ass people on the end not mark? It won't be nothing like that. It'll be something. Right. Man, you be like, Mark, you know, do me a favor. Like I saw on your video, one of your videos. Actually, I talked to D about it. I said I wanted to call you, but you know, we didn't talk and converse, but I didn't know you to that point to where I can call you. You know what I'm saying? And like say like I seen your kids marching. Y'all was marching up the field. They was going 6-7 yards on the 8-5. I say, D, call and walk and tell them to watch that video that tell them put the 22 and a half inches, 1, 2, it's 1, 3, 5, 7, and 2, 4, 6, 8. The yard line is on 8. Like I explain that to you, D, but I didn't know you, Mark, to call you and be like, man, you know, do this and do that. But guess what? I follow you throughout the day. You working hard down there. You grinding. So if I was in Beaumont, I can come to you, Mark. I see the back. I'm not me. I'm gonna go while you doing your show. I'm gonna go to the top of the bleachers and call you on the phone, Mark. Stop it right there. Go fix that squad in the back. Man 3 is off to the right too full. Bring him over some and get him centered. And once he gets centered, everybody else could get centered with him, and they can stay in a straight line and get the show on through. You know, it'll be advice like that. It won't be like, oh, that little boy is sorry, he can't do that. If I see a child,
but check this out. Whether I know you or not, does that make you any less right about what you're saying?
No.
Okay, so what's the first thing people say? Oh, they hating on me. You didn't say they was lying now. Exactly. You didn't say they was lying. Because if they was lying, you would say they was lying. But you said they hating on me. Why? Yeah. Because hate is the truth at an inopportune time. Why are you talking to me about this? But it's still the truth now. You see what I'm saying? Like so now, if you say something to me, even if you come at me wrong, first thing I'm gonna say is, man, you better get out of my face with all that, bro. You don't know me like that. Yeah, I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? If you hating on me in a way that's offensive, then I'm gonna come back at you. But in my mind, I'm gonna say I'm gonna fix that so that hater ain't got nothing to say. You see what I'm saying? Like, look, so we still gotta find a way to take it.
I'm the best assistant director since sliced butter. Chris ain't got shit on me. I put the wig on the lace front.
Hey, look here.
All right, y'all. All right.
Got some questions? You say, huh?
Yeah. We got a few questions. Somebody wants to know. Let me see. Let me go back to it. Somebody wants to know, how do y'all approach getting your students to play with a characteristic tone?
Wendell, you want to take that one?
Sure, man. you know, like I said, I played jazz for a long time, so that's what it's all about. Man, when I started with the theory, you know, one of the first things I started talking about was phrasing, and they had to repeat, like we had definitions on the board. What's a staff? You know, what is music? What's the staff? You know, and as I'm reading those definitions, I'm saying it in a certain way. You know what I'm saying? So we're practicing that even from the first way we start talking to each other. And then, you know, once we put the horn in their mouth, and like I said, we didn't touch instruments till October, the middle of October. Once we put the horn in their mouth, you know, we focused on tone and stuff. By them knowing how to read clap rhythm patterns and recognizing notes, I was able to focus on tones, and I wrote songs like that had whole notes in them. You know, first song rock and roll or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And you know, being a musician, I'm picking up my horn, and I'm actually, you know, after we learn the song, I'm saying, okay, now this is how we're gonna phrase it. This is how we're gonna express it. This part is supposed to be happy, you know, bum, 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 hey, you know, so it's different from, you know, I'm not talking about major and minor keys just yet, but it's different from a dark sound from what you would get, you know, in a rap tune or something like that. So just like, you know, really talking about it and, you know, going over it with them and modeling it, I think helps a lot.
Yeah, man. Let me ask you a question. I hate to answer a question with a question, but I think it's important to clarify what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
What's a characteristic tone?
It depends on
because I'm not necessarily asking. I'm not necessarily asking you. Well, no, okay. Now I will ask you.
Go ahead.
Stewart,
yeah. No, I understand.
Is the characteristic tone for jazz saxophone the same characteristic tone that you would use for a classical saxophone?
Not at all.
Okay, so now that we got that established, my first question would be to answer that question. Well, what kind of tone are you talking about? What kind of tone are you referring to? A lot of times, now, again on my soapbox, a lot of times if you don't have that classical tone, then people will say that you don't have a characteristic tone. But I can guarantee you, when Jimi Hendrix just picked up that guitar and played the Star Spangled Banner, and you can hear people, bombs bursting in the air, and you can hear people screaming, and you can hear all this stuff, I guarantee you that was not a characteristic guitar sound. However, that sound will live way past that characteristic guitar sound. So what I'm saying is, first of all, there is a thing about tuning. There is a thing about intonation and whatever style that you're playing in to have that. So I might play a Russian march, for instance, because I know when people say characteristic tone, they're mostly talking about that classical sound. But even within the classical sound, you got a Russian march, which is heavy. Boom, boom, it's heavy, you know, dark heavy most of the time. When you got a Western European march, that's more light and delicate. And then you got a Sousa march that's more heavy in the basses, like them, you know, trombones, you know. So if I played a Western march like I played an American march, that wouldn't be characteristic tone, right? So if I played a Russian march like I played a Western European march, that wouldn't be characteristic tone. So in America, we tune the A440. In Europe, they tune the A448. Okay, so who's right? Now, because I don't want to get into a discussion about tone without stating first that the tone that we choose to employ in HBCU bands are a lot of not all HBCU bands, but a lot of bands that play top 40 songs, a lot of bands that play rap music and stuff like that is trying to achieve a different characteristic sound than we would be trying to achieve in maybe a classical hall setting, or maybe even in a jazz setting. I wouldn't growl on the trumpet in the middle of a marching band song. You see what I'm saying? And but that's a characteristic aspect of jazz, right?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
First thing I would have to set the parameters, and now we're talking about a well-rounded student. So now there's some things about tuning, about balance and blend that are universal, right? Whatever style you're playing in, that's universal. If you're not playing in the same style, then of course it's going to clash and it's going to be out of tune and stuff like that. There's stuff about listening, right? Listening to the person next to you. There's certain stuff about getting a well-supported sound. They say, like, I don't know if y'all can see me. Can y'all see me?
Yeah.
So they talk about a block of sound like this as opposed to something that look like this and die off at the end, right?
Right.
So there's things, aspects in that realm that I always, no matter what genre of music you're playing, it's always going to be consistent, right? Supporting your air, having the right diaphragm. So these are things that we start fundamentally on doing, making sure they understand. You can yell at a kid till your face turn blue about faster air, but if you don't tell them about tongue placement, about how low notes have a toe sound, right? An open, low structure, and a high note has a T, sound. If you don't tell, you can tell them the fast air, they're not going to understand anyway. What's fast air? What does that mean?
Right.
So, so those things are universal. So start there, right? Start with the right breath technique, right? Start with the right air support, diaphragmatic breathing. Start with the right fingering, like little stuff, even how it goes down to how you hold the horn. A trumpet is supposed to be with a C. You're not supposed to hook the ring because that puts pressure on it. All those things, right? Those little things that with essential elements, standard of excellence, sound innovation, whatever little method book, Arvin, whatever book that you like to use or whatever that established as fundamental. Yes, we understand this part. But also taking it to the next level for a well-rounded student. I've heard Wynton Marsalis play Carnival of Venice, turn around and play some jazz lick, and then come around and play some second line stuff. You know what I'm saying? And all of those were different
characteristics.
Characteristic sound. So what I don't want to get in is the discussion or the thinking that a lot of people, whether they're black, white, or any other color, that think that if I'm not playing with this classical traditional sound, then I'm not playing with the characteristic sound. Like I told my fine art director, like I told before, not this one, but the one before, like I told the UIL director of our region, hey man, look, whenever you on the corner, and he's a white guy, I said, man, when you're on the corner, and he's from New Orleans, that's the funny part. So he played in the club. He said his first gig was in the strip club in New Orleans. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so he kind of understands. Like, he got on me because he knew. He said I was playing the game too hard. When we played Spain, we were playing it like schoolhouse rock. Because we wanted to be clean and we were trying to compete with the chorus out there. He said, man, don't play it like that, man. Just play it like you play it. Like, and I said, okay. And they kind of freed me up to do some things. But I had to, he said, and you told me that. I said, yeah, I did. I forgot where I came from. Thank you for reminding me. So now I told him, I said, when you go to the stoplight and that, you got that 78 Cadillac sitting next to you, the windows don't even roll down. The inspection sticker is expired. You know what I'm saying? He's sitting next to you, and you in your Hyundai Palisade. You know what I'm saying? And you sitting there and you listen to your music, and then he sitting next to you, and his trumpet rattles like, hey, bang. And you know what I'm saying? Like when they do that, right? That's what I'm listening to, right? So the characteristic of sound of that, if I play, let's say a UGK song, because I'm from Port Arthur, I'm always rep where I'm from. If I'm playing a UGK song and that 808 kicking and it's loud and it's really not balanced with the tweeters on this part of the song, they drop the bass and you can tell the difference and stuff like that. If I'm not playing in that style, am I really playing with a characteristic sound for that genre? So yes, there are some things that always are fundamental, but let's not downplay what we do, what this genre and style that we made. I have a book called Wind Dance of America, and they talk about how Patrick Gilmore, Patrick Gilmore and this guy that started with a K, I can't remember his name right now. This man ended his man's career because he came up on the thing He played the trumpet solo, and the director felt played, so he played it back. And then, process of time, Patrick Gilmore played the same rendition he did, variation, faster, louder, and higher. And this man went to obscurity, he killed it. And then now you're gonna tell me that we wrong for battling people, but that's the history of wind bands in America, coming from a battle. So now I don't want to lose in this discussion that characteristic sound is relative to the genre that you're playing and the audience that you're playing for. So yes, I just wanted to say that, because when I get that question, a lot of people don't say that, oh well, Texas Southern or Southern, they don't play with characteristic sound. We playing with the sound exactly what we wanted to play with. Like, you know, that is right. That's the sound we were trying to achieve. Maybe you don't like that sound. Maybe that sound is not your cup of tea. But that's what we want to do, and we did it on purpose. Don't think it was an accident. Right. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. We have a few other questions. Somebody, Terrence Brock wants to know, how do y'all feel about the future of our culture with the new age directors coming into the game?
Trick question, Terrence Brock. You trying to get us all in trouble. Okay, I know exactly, because Terrence Brock, I've said his name a couple of times, right? Terrence Brock is a band director in Dallas. He was a band director in Beaumont for a while, but he's a band director in Dallas. Very good friend of mine. Played baritone for Texas Southern. He just came to my band camp. He just came to my band camp a couple of days ago. But what's happening, right, is we're having a disconnect between the generations, right? That's what's happening. So you have these kids playing, you know, the arrangement battle thing, you know, and a lot of the older cats, we think and we feel that they're wasting their time because there's so much more to band directing than arranging, right? And we don't let them know that we appreciate what they were doing. Because truth be told, it's the middle of COVID, and they are getting views, man, and they are doing some awesome stuff, man. Like they're getting views, and they're keeping band at the forefront when we can't even perform. People are tuning in. People that not even band people are tuning in to see these arrangement battles. So first of all, I gotta respect what they're doing. But at the same time, I also have to tell them that that's not all it is, man. I can tell you. I got books, stacks of people that's come to my band hall to see. I have hundreds of thousands of arrangements just sitting there that I've done over the course of my career, right? Most of them we don't get to play because how many arrangements can you play in a year? On general preference. And I don't spend my time writing a lot. I write more for need nowadays because I'm a little older. I have 3 kids, as you can see, they keep popping in and out. I have a wife. Responsibilities at the church, and not only that, I have responsibilities at the school. So I might be in a meeting all day. I might be like right now. I'm gonna have to go and about football. We're gonna have football in Texas, so I gotta go make a plan for the how we're gonna do this safely in the stands. How we're gonna social distance in the stands and have fans and all this other stuff. So while I'm doing it, my sister's gonna be working with the band. So I think we're doing a disservice sometimes to these younger guys because we're not telling them. It's like our rap music now. We're not getting the social commentary. Yeah, you got the wrist and you're blinging and you got the girls and then you smoking the weed and you're doing all this stuff and you party. It's bird, skirt, all that other stuff. It's fun, right? You know what I'm saying? But what happens when your partner go to jail or his mama got to take care of the kids now? Or you know what I'm saying? Or you lose your life in the streets, man. Like back in the day where they would tell you about all the sides, right? So I think one thing is we're doing a disservice when we don't tell them all about the sides. We're also doing a disservice as older band directors when we don't give them props for what they're doing, but also to their side. Now on their side, when somebody does try to tell you these things, right? It's not always because we don't appreciate what we're doing. What you're doing is because we see some things that you're not necessarily focusing on. You're writing these arrangements, but you haven't passed Theory 4 yet. You know what I'm saying? You write these arrangements, but you don't understand that you will never get to play these arrangements. Or even if you do play these arrangements in your band hall, you'll never see me because you don't know how to get the money or you don't even know what a purchase order is. So now you're spending 24 hours a day working on arrangements when you it's so much more to this band thing than that.
Yeah.
Most of your job is geared towards you got a kid that's not eating today. So you got to kind of fix that while at the same time you got to deal with the administration that's not supporting you in the way that you feel like they should. And then on the same time, you got this parent yelling at you because you done told their kids something that they didn't like. On the same time, you got all these other things going on. And then you got your home life. Then you got your bills. Then you got all this other stuff. And all you're focusing on is arranging. And then when somebody tells you something about this, now they hate. Now they don't want to see you succeed.
Yeah.
No, young man, no young woman, no, that's not the case. Yes, I will admit that sometimes we don't say it in the right way, but it does not change the fact that what we're saying is true. Sometimes we don't support y'all like we should support y'all. Sometimes we're saying like all we're doing is condescending y'all. I agree. I feel you. I felt the same way when I was a young band director. But at the same time, just because that may be the case does not make the information that's being told to you invalid. It does not invalidate the things that are being told to you. So now my message is to older people. Hey, man, get off the boo-boo, man. These kids are doing some stuff that we wish we could do. Man, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think I'm a better arranger than most of these kids, but I can't make it sound like they make it sound and do the screen record and do it. I don't do all that, man. I'm not about to write no drum part, bro. I'm not about to do none of that. You know what I'm saying? So if you can be an arrangement battle, I'm going to lose you, bro. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Like, but although I feel my knowledge is greater than them. So, hey, man, get out the band, let them have fun. But at the same time, younger directors, it's not always a fun job. It's not all about arranging. And you have to take that whenever these people, because like I said, Butler told me you ain't going to have that but a little N-word band. When you go up, you know what I'm saying? Pop Butler, the founder of the Ocean, that's what he told me. And in front of Doc, the rest of his soul, and all these at the HBC consultants, they brought me in the room, you know, they doing all their things. And then, you know, and I'm like, man, what you mean? I'm going to be on the concert, man. I'm offended. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to have no N-word, man. As a matter of fact, forget that, you know, like I'm offended. But then they, you know, say, he said, I never said your band wasn't going to be good. I said they wasn't going to be a little N-word band. You know what I'm saying? He said, you got to feel what I'm saying. Right. And then they started explaining this stuff to me. And he said, but you know what? You're going to be all right because him, Doc, and all the people that was in that room was like, man, remember innovation. You see what I'm saying? We are famous because we innovated, because we didn't do what everybody else did, right? So, yes, but at the same time, those band directors had to pass those tests that this man is Mr. Brother Stewart is talking about. Those band directors had to go through the struggle. They had to go through not having the instruments. They had to go through those fundamentals. And if your only focus is arranging, then the state of in the future of band is very bleak indeed. But it's our job as old people to take these younger people under our wings and tell them, hey, man, look, I'm going to tell you the truth. You might sound like a hating, but I'm going to tell you the truth. You're not focusing on everything that you need to focus on. But come here. You play your arrangements with my band, and we're going to critique these arrangements. We're going to make them fit for this high school band. I'm going to teach you how to make arrangements fit for a high school band. I'm going to teach you about that theory. And then I'm going to teach you about how to do these purchase orders, how to get this money. Instead of coming with hostility sometimes, you come with a stick and a carrot at the same time. Don't be afraid of the stick now, because you like when I come with the carrot, but don't be afraid with the stick. So I think that it's up to us as older people to mold these younger people. And if we do that, and if they allow us to mold them, then the state of band is going to be beautiful. But if those two things that don't happen, then we're going to just be like all the other baseball. Baseball is a dying sport because it's slow. Band is slow. It's not fast. You know, basketball, boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not about to watch a 90-minute soccer match for a 0-0 tie. You know what I'm saying? Like, in America, at least. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if we don't want to go that way of baseball and having to fight and find, we have to listen to them with the innovation. But at the same time, if we want to have the longevity that baseball had, then we have to pass on these other things as well. And that's kind of my spiel on that. A lot of the kids don't like that. A lot of adults don't like it, but it's still the truth.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much, you know, like I said, this is my first year in the game, you know what I'm saying? And actually, when I'm a part of all these Facebook groups and stuff for the last few years, I've been learning about the history since I haven't been around or been a part of it. But on the flip side of that, I'm coming off my first year as a band director, and in a lot of eyes, I've had a lot of success. You know what I'm saying? And I would contribute that to me. And like he's saying, it's more than arranging. I hold my hands how I'm done. But the thing is, the experiences you get. If you're not studying another band director to all the dirty work to learn the game before you actually get your turn. I'm not saying you have to go in my case, but in my case, like I said, I coached for 10 years. That entailed buying uniforms, which is dealing with finance, collecting the money, dealing with parents, having coaches meeting. I almost had to put my parent coaches off my coaching squad. Like, if you're gonna talk to my kids like this, you can sit on the damn side. You know what I'm saying? But after that, we won the championship that year. You know what I'm saying? So like bringing a team together, knowing how to talk to administrators. You know, like I said, I worked in a restaurant. It was intense. I mean, if you ever ate at a Houston restaurant, you know how they get down. And I was in there for like 16 years. You know what I'm saying? And these managers are on you to perform at a certain level. You know what I'm saying? And if you've never experienced that, all of those things or some of those things, and you just come out of college and you're a great arranger and you think you're just going to, and the most important thing I think would be, you know, just in going to be a band director, man. And I know I got this because I went to college in my older age, and I had 5 kids at the time. And I really got into those psychology classes. You know, I took all levels of child psychology from infant to the middle to teenage. And I also took personality psychology. You know what I'm saying? So that enables me to understand where the kid's coming from, to actually be patient. You know what I'm saying? Because first of all, psychology teaches you about yourself before you can understand someone else. You know what I'm saying? So like just having all of those experiences. If you don't get those experiences, straight say, bro, I'm gonna make that drive to Beaumont. If you don't get those experiences in some type of way and you think you're just gonna jump in here and have success, you know, I'm sorry for you. So to the arrangers that's doing your thing, man, shit, dude, man, look, I know how to write music, but I'm looking at y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am studying you guys, but understand that before you can just become a successful band director, you have to have certain life experiences.
Right. So we have another question. It said, what are some legendary classical pieces that can or should be arranged into epic stand battles that hasn't been heard recently? Man, they got you with a good one.
Damn.
Right.
Now, why would I give that information out?
What was the question again, D?
I can tell you what I've done in the past, but I'm not about to tell you what we're about to do this year. Y'all going to watch and keep watching and learn from experience and whatever I unleash it on you.
What was the question?
The question is, what are some legendary classical pieces that can or should be arranged into epic stand battles?
Zoom by Boosie and Young Jock, Jigger Train by Boosie, Wipe Me Down, Bout It by
there you go.
Bout It by Master P, June 27th. You can kind of speed up. Boom, 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 boom,
Go ahead, Ricky.
Check this out. But real talk, man. Look, check this out.
To go to war.
Mm-hmm.
Let's check this out, man. It takes Southern, man. You know, I've seen the ocean, you know, march to Beethoven's Fifth. You see what I'm saying? I've seen, you know, one of my favorite things that we played, Mr. Lee wrote, La Louisiana. You know what I'm saying? Dum 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 dum. We played that. We played that. So we played the regular version, and then he wrote like a jazz version of it, and man, it was really nice. We played Takala and Feud. You know, so the possibilities with my high school bands, I played, you know, stuff like I keep saying, that's not necessarily classical, but you know, Spain. I played charts like Get It On and Joe Tex stuff like that. By Buddy Miles. I played things that that are outside of the box of the realm that we usually kind of deal with, and made them nice. I look at Southern. They played the Batman theme, man, and I love that. You know what I'm saying?
That was so
awesome.
beautiful.
That was awesome. So while I'm not gonna divulge secrets of plans in the future, because I always got a plan. I got plans on top of plans. What I will just say is that we have to sometimes look outside the box, because our audience is not always going to be the people that like to listen to second line or the people that like to listen to rap music. So we have to find taking a classical piece or something like that and making it into something that your audience on your home side can can enjoy. At the same time, while it impresses somebody on the other side, is very key in getting a wide variety of fans, a wide variety of support. We have people that from the cities next over. Vita, I know you've heard of Vita, Texas. Oh man, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I went viral a couple months ago because I went to that rally, man, and all of a sudden I'm looking at my video. I'm like, this is 100,000 views. Oh no. Like now people are watching me and stuff. I don't like that. But we have people from Vita. We have people from Lumberton. We have people from Jasper and all these places that you wouldn't think about that are actually like giving us water, stuff like that, because they like the way we perform, because we put on an entertainment show that they can understand as well, and that our crowd appreciate it. So merging those two things is very important, in my opinion. But as far as to answering the question specifically, I can't do it, man, because you might use it against me, and then now I'm gonna be mad. Get played.
All right.
Nah, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
You could go ahead. Go ahead with the next question. That was good. I was just about to. Let me just say something real quick. I just think that I'm really trying. I have a big plan to build a 200 member high school band in the future.
Okay.
And, you know what? I really think if we get, because New Orleans after Katrina had a big influx of Latinos, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really into Latin music, and a lot of it has, it's the rhythms, it's pretty much our rhythms, you know what I'm saying? And, I'm pushing toward that Latin side in a certain way. I'm not gonna call out songs and stuff like that, but I just think that's gonna you're gonna have Latin moms and grandmas said, you should get in that band. They're playing our music, you know what I'm saying? And that's how we get 200 members. There you go.
Right.
There you go.
Spice it up some. All right,
But yeah, you got to be exposed to a lot of music too, though, man, just to have great ideas. Yeah.
You got to. We got a question from Alex Frazier. He wants to know, what was your biggest obstacle you've had to overcome in your career so far?
Right quick. I can explain something, and I'm going through my biggest obstacle right now. About a month ago, my band room was broken into, and they stole all our instruments out of there. So, coming off a pretty good first year, now I'm hitting something that I wouldn't have never guessed would have happened. You know what I'm saying? And that thing, you got to be ready for everything that comes your way. You know what I'm saying? I'm not down about it, but that is something that weighs. It's crazy because I had a kid, COVID's going on, and one thing I like about band, it could take the kid that's not an athlete, not popular, and you take that kid in and give him music. And here in New Orleans, once you're in the band, you're pretty much the most popular kid in the school. It gives them a whole different experience in life. You know what I'm saying? I got word that he was depressed because we weren't together anymore. He didn't have a trumpet to play and all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I had planned on going to get him a trumpet, Then I got a call 2 days later saying that the band room got broken into. You know what I'm saying? But fortunately, his mom bought him one. His family, he had family support. They bought him one, and he's still playing an instrument right now. So he's good. But like, you know, that thing that's coming up, you know, just dealing with the kids, and you know, it's gonna be tough, you know. But we're gonna get through it. You know, I there's a silver lining always. And coming out of my first year, my plan was to focus on the sound of the band, as opposed to, like I said earlier, getting songs out. You know, it's time. They know me, they know us. It's time to focus on sound. So it's gonna be an obstacle without instruments, but you know, I'm gonna get them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And shout out to Alex Frazier, man. That's the guy that asked that question is the guy I keep referencing, as the person I would kind of look up to. And we actually started our careers at the exact same time, exact same year. I was at one middle school in Port Arthur. He was at the other middle school in Port Arthur. So we, you know, like I said, but I really look up to him. So shout out Alex Frazier. But the biggest obstacle, now it's kind of hard because there's so many that we face as band directors. I could talk about finances. I could talk about working with administration. I could talk about my band hall was broken into this summer as well.
Wow,
man, they smacked. I got a 72-inch TV, man, and I hooked my computer up. I'll be doing my ratings on it, and they just broke it, man. They just did it like, oh man, I'm so mad. Like, you know, like, but you know, I can talk about the challenge, but I can say that the biggest challenge or the biggest obstacle that I've ever had to face always came from within me. Right. Knowing how to deal with these situations, or being able to say the right things, or be able to, you know, you got a lot of people depending on you a lot of times, like you said, you know, and sometimes I get in the way of doing it. Even if this last year, honestly speaking, going through deciding whether I really still love doing what I do. You know, just, you know, you get through all the struggles, and there's one fight after another one, and you kind of get discouraged. So when I'm saying these things, I'm not talking about everybody else. I'm talking about me. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, but you get discouraged. You want to lash out. You know what I'm saying? You want to defend yourself. You want to do all these things, and these things are natural human traits. Nothing wrong with them. But overcoming that self, whether it's tiredness, whether it's you know, disillusionment, whether it's you know, finance, whatever it is, always being able to look in the mirror and saying, what am I doing, or what could I be doing more? And then sometimes looking in the mirror and saying, hey man, you're doing a good job. You know, all those things. But it all centers on me and my attitude. And that's been the biggest challenge, and that's why I really want the younger directors to understand is me is the reason. Me is the issue a lot of times. Some people grow up in the hood and say, well, that's the reason why I never made it. And then some people grow up in the hood and say, well, the reason why I made it is because I want to get out the hood, or that motivated me. Right. It always goes down to my perspective and what I'm doing. So that's been my biggest challenge. And Frazier knows this because I've talked to him in frustration. A lot of times he's kept me on the up and straight and narrow. A lot of times I've been that ear for him as well. Going this summer, you know, just with everything, we got Hurricane Harvey. Then, you know, we opened a new school, Hurricane Harvey hit. Then we had Imelda the next year, and now we got COVID. This was gonna be the year, you know what I'm saying? And just being, you know, the kid in a new environment, new community, not always responding to what I'm trying to do, not always seeing the vision of what we are trying to build here, trying to live up to the legacy of two great schools in Central and Ozan. It's been a challenge. Man, going to New Orleans and half the school, let alone the band, is out with a mysterious upper respiratory infection. So my band goes from 80 people to like 30 something. I'm battling these giants. You know what I'm saying? Like, just, oh man, it's just like one thing after another. But keeping my attitude right has always, it's an everyday struggle, and I don't think it's ever gonna go away. But man, I have good people like Frazier. I have good people that I can lean on and talk to. I have like Terrence Brock, going out there and seeing what they did with the Metroplex All-Stars, right? They had a camp this summer, and they were, you know, in the middle of COVID. They had procedures, they had, you know, temperature checks, they had distancing, and man, and look, and I go out there just to watch, right? Just to see what was going on, because I know I'm gonna have to deal with this. So I went to Dallas, I went to Houston, I went to Port Arthur, I went all over across the state. I talked to band directors all over across the country, just to figure out what I was gonna do, right? So now I'm there, and I'm still kind of, but I saw those kids, man, and I saw his energy. I saw how he was working with them. I saw how he was just like everything he was doing, man. It's like, and it fired me up, man. And then right after that, Mr. J called, and he just got me fired up. And then right after that, I talked to Deontay Kennedy, and I was, man, I'm ready. And like, you know, my kids, like, I'm paying attention to more detail. We having fun. Like, we did a little skit with the earthquake, because I just like, man, look, man, we played earthquake last year, man. Let me find we call him Jason the Creator, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he gonna come in there and he gonna do his thing, you know what I'm saying? Like I made a little cart to make him look like Tyler the Creator and like do his little thing, and he jamming, and man, just kind of making it fun, because band's supposed to be fun, man. And sometimes I get in the way of that. Sometimes because I'm a perfectionist. Sometimes because I want it a certain way. Sometimes because this is the right thing and we have to do it this way.
Yeah.
My problem has always been me, and I think that if a lot of people are honest about the situation, they would admit that as well. A lot of times the problem is maybe I don't know enough, or maybe I know too much and I'm just being overbearing, but anything that happens to a band that I'm a director of, I take it personally and it's my fault. So what do I have to, even though it's something I couldn't foresee, like a hurricane or something that happens. Okay, that's not necessarily my fault, but at the same time, it is what it is. So what do I need to, what adjustments do I need to make? What things do I need to do to make this happen? This man didn't ask for his band hall to be broken in and all his instruments being stolen. But guess what? Come whenever they open, they're going to inspect the band program. So what is he going to do to get that done? And keeping yourself motivated and keeping yourself like diligent and keeping yourself honest and true. Those things are a daily thing that every human being has to deal with. Every human being has sadness. Every human being has happiness. We have extreme anger, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Grief. We have elation, you know what I'm saying? We have all these emotions, man, and we act like we don't have it. We have love, but we act like we don't have it. But it's real, especially as men, you know what I'm saying? So just keeping myself mentally, going, knowing when to put it down, when to close the computer and just rest. You know what I'm saying? Knowing when to go fishing instead of, you know what, it's only so many hours a day. I just put this down for a second so I can have peace of mind, so I can treat these kids right. Yeah. All those things, finding that, I won't say balance, because if you slept 12 hours a day and you was up 12 hours a day and you had a balanced sleeping pattern, you wouldn't get anything done, right? So I won't say balance, but I will say getting into that flow, right? That, the ups and downs, the peaks and valleys, being able to deal with that and putting a network around you that can help you out with that, and talking to people and just like being grateful that I'm alive, being grateful for the grass, for the rain, for the good things. Well, a lot of times we count all the bad things, but I lived 365 days within the last year, right? And maybe once or twice a month I had a bad day, but I'll focus on those bad days more than hey y'all. Thank you. I'll focus more on those bad days than I focus on those good days. So I had 2 days out the month, 2-3 days out the month that was bad days. Let's say three times 12, well, there's 36 bad days. Really, really bad days this year. But I've had over 300 good days. So keeping stuff in perspective. So that would be my hardest challenge, because it's a daily grind and everybody has to go through it.
Wow.
Hey,
Ricky, man, you have any last questions, Rick? Comments?
Man, I'm just here. Knowledge. This the second line in the road knowledge. Like my thing was to try to get people to understand how to build a relationship between your feeder school and your high school with this interview.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, fellas, man, great interview, man. Y'all dropped some gems. I appreciate y'all, reaching out, even wanting to do this interview, man. And anyway, me and Rick can help y'all. Just let us know, man. And y'all stay safe out here.
Let me say something real quick, man. Hey, I want to thank all of y'all. Thank you, Ricky, man. Thank you. Ricky, you've been nice to me. You're holding up that that card right there. I want that real bad, man. I'm gonna come take a ride to Baton Rouge. And thank you, D, for having me on. But Mark, bro, I think this is gonna be a good relationship, man. I ain't letting you go, man. You're intelligent.
Hey,
you
don't
are
let me
a
go,
very
man.
knowledgeable young man, bro. And I really appreciate you opening up with all that knowledge to a young band director like me, man. I really appreciate it, and I'm going back and watch this video 100 times, and I'm gonna talk to you a bunch, man. And I really thank you for that, man.
Man,
iron sharpens iron, my brothers. Iron sharpens iron, right? But when you sharpen one iron on another one, you gotta shave some off, right? So we all gotta lose a little bit of ourselves in order to gain a sharp edge. You feel what I'm saying? So don't let me go, man. Shave me just like I'm gonna try to shave you. You feel what I'm saying?
Say that, baby.
Guess what, Wendell? You got to remember, just because they stole your instrument, God gonna give you 10 times fold.
I believe it.
Oh, yeah.
Guess what happens?
Coming back even harder.
Where you had leaks in the roof, in them instruments, he gonna fix them.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Greater is in he that believe in himself. You got to be true to self.
Yes, indeed.
And guess what? You humble. Most people would have left that school after those instruments got stolen.
Most people would have left that school when they walked in there. They had no air conditioning, but I didn't. With the worst kids, so it's all good. They're the best now.
Well, the thing is, keep working, keep pushing, keep striving. But most important, as a band director, a male figure, be a father to the fatherless kids in your band program.
Straight up.
Give them something to do when they walk away from the band and graduate high school 4 years later, 7 years later from you, Wendell, and 4 for you, Mark, to when they get to college. Man, that man was like a daddy to me. When I didn't have, he didn't have. Like, you know how good it feel to see, like, I didn't saw some band kids from Washington, Marion in Baton Rouge. Mr. Ricky, what you finna do? Shit, probably go get something to eat. Hey, let's go. They done took me to Chimes. They done took me to places to sit down and eat. You know why? Because they know after band practice, after you was, like I used to run the streets. I was hustling back and forth from Baton Rouge, Lake Charles, doing my thing. I had money. I got a little money, but I ain't gonna touch that. I was able to take the captains to Pluckers or Buffalo Wild Wings in Lafayette, Lake Charles, and go sit down and eat good meals because they gave me they all. They did. If you like, they could vouch for themselves. I told the band, if we go to Faraday and win about a band, I get them a bar meat. I get them a picnic before we leave. Go to St. Martinville. We went to Faraday and won. I went and got a case of neck bones, a case of turkey necks, corn, potatoes, and sausage. I had 3 pots of meat, corn, and sausage going at 8 o'clock that morning. When they got there, we went over the field show. We left at 1. I bought the food out the pots at 10:30. Let it chill about 11:30. We ran over the show, and guess what they did? We ate as a family, not just band members, band staff, booster club, band, dancers, and flags, and banner holders. I mean, the banner tote. Everybody ate because that was my word, and they love me for that. So one thing about it, when you give your kids your word, stand on that. You know,
Right.
because guess what? When you lie to them kids, guess what's gonna happen? They're gonna look at you as a fraud these days.
Right.
And my last word, bro, because I didn't mention them, and I definitely didn't do it by myself. Shout out to my assistant band directors, Miss Aya Pataya. Man, she did so much for me. She fixed my instrument sitting in the room. She is so awesome. Troy Noble, my trombone instructor, and Mr. Edward Johnson, my drum instructor. Man, thank y'all.
And new head assistant director.
There you go.
Yeah, look, that I'm gonna do the same thing. I did mention these people, but I'm gonna reiterate it. You know, we got Robert under here, my assistant band director. We got our Troy sponsor, Brittany Gillard. We got Trey Nixon, went to Southern from Beaumont. He teaches audio and animation at our school. Doesn't even have to be there, but he shows up every day to help us out. You know, he played trumpet at Southern. We also have Joshua Robinson, I mentioned him earlier as well, the middle school band director. We have Kerry Rice, the middle school band director, coming up and helping us out. We extended those relationships. We try to build those relationships. And the last thing I'm going to say, if y'all don't remember nothing else that I said all night, remember this. Y'all listening? I got y'all attention? Okay. I'm the best band director in the world. That's all I
Man, y'all take it easy, man.
On that note, man,
all right, man.
Y'all be safe out there, man.
For sure.
All right.
All right.